Man, I feel like we were just here, literally and metaphorically, and both of those are true, I think. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, you were just here.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, you were here in spirit.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
I always am. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure that while you guys were recording your DCEU, The Rise and Fall episode yesterday, I probably was recording my Last of Us episode 3 episode.
Which, by the way, man, like that episode, that show has just been chef's kiss.
Yeah. Episode 3 was, I don't know that, and we won't spoil it here, but, I don't know that I've ever been left that emotionally, like, rocked by an episode of television. Not in a positive way.
Right.
Like, season 8 of Game of Thrones, I was just like, you motherfucker. Like, that happens a lot, right? But I mean, like, in a way where after I turned it off, I just had to kind of sit there with it for a little while. I mean, and we kind of talked about this, like, for art to be able to make you feel that, like, that's what it's for. You know, that's like the goal.
Yeah.
So, amazing.
No, agreed. And I think it's even more impressive when you consider that, especially for the people who aren't familiar with the games, but also for those who are familiar with the game, it's like we take a pretty big departure, and now we're dealing with characters who we don't know, and it's like a kind of a quasi bottle episode, and yeah, so we're dealing with these other characters, getting to know them, and by the end of that hour, it's this whole emotional thing, and I'm like, that was very impressive.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely, it was off the chain, man. Like, just as far as like being able to predict what was going to happen. Because like when Kevin came on and did the first 2 episodes, we had a little segment at the end where we're like, okay, full spoilers, like, okay, let's talk about what we think is going to happen next time. And we talked about it a little bit, and then the episode came on, and I was like, yeah, we were entirely wrong. So it's like, it doesn't matter how much you know about the games.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I think that season 1 is going to end in the same place that the first game ends, but between here and there, man, it's nobody could tell you. I mean, other than Neil Druckmann.
Yeah, he's about the only one, and that frightens me.
Well, his mad scientist nonsense seems to be working out for the show.
Yeah, and I think that's really the medium that Neil wanted all along.
Right.
I mean, a lot of people right now are talking about The Last of Us 3, like the video game, and I don't know if we ever. I mean, if we get it, it won't be because of Neil. It'll be because of Sony and Naughty Dog.
Right.
And I'm sure they want Neil there to do it, but I think that Neil is more interested in telling his stories in a more traditional manner, a la TV shows and movies. I think that's what he's more interested in.
Yeah, I actually don't think he maybe ever set out to really make a video game.
He actually shopped Last of Us 1 around several different places before he landed with the video game.
Yeah, I mean, this is clearly what he wanted to do, and I think that, and I've always really said that Last of Us works better as a movie or a TV show. I mean, I think this, like, long-form, like, premium TV format is really the ultimate, like, medium for it. I think it's the perfect medium for it. And people will be like, no, man, it's a great game. I'm like, look, man, I ain't mad at you for liking it. I'm just saying that it's better as a show. And I think, like, episode 3 is probably the notary seal on that statement, because they couldn't have told that story in the game.
Right. Yeah, you're right. They couldn't. There's no place for that in the game. And there's been a few detractors who've said there's no place for that in the TV show. They view it as filler. They view it as like something that. Here's my thing about that, okay? And I promise we'll get off The Last of Us, because you literally just covered this less than 24 hours ago. Check that out on an Evolve Review, by the way. If you guys are enjoying this, I promise you it's much better on his own platform. But the whole purpose of like video games like The Last of Us is to draw emotions from you. And the video game has its own way of doing it that works for that type of platform. And the changes or the adaptations they made for the TV show are also made to do the same thing. So yes, while there is an overarching narrative, things don't always have to serve the narrative. Things also can serve the characters. But in this case, in this rare instance, that episode actually served not to service the narrative or even the characters, because I mean, I'm not going to spoil anything here, but I mean, it doesn't really do much for Joel or Ellie, who are our main characters. But it actually goes to service like the overarching tone and theme of the show.
Right.
So in that regard, I think it is a very important episode to the season.
It was world building via character.
Yeah.
And that is both, I think, one of the most effective forms of world building and the hardest to pull off.
Yes.
And they nailed it. So, yeah, man, since I got you on the spot here, you coming on next week to do episode 4, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, perfect. Well,
yeah, and now that I've said it on the microphone, there's no takebacks.
Yeah. No takes and backsies. The legal teams all have it from here.
It would be not hilarious, because I don't want this to happen, but it would be, like, in a way hilarious if episode 4 was just, like, the worst fucking episode.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be like, well, see, I told everybody this was going to suck.
And I just have to sit there and take it. And,
be like, this man's been talking about this for years. Now, one thing real quick, though, is like, and I talked about this with Stan yesterday, if they were to come out with a Last of Us 3, Neil Druckmann has confirmed that it's not even in like early development. Like, they have no plans right now for one. So like, it's a AAA title. It's a 6 or 7 year development cycle now.
Yeah,
you're gonna get it on the PlayStation 6 like midway through its life cycle.
Right.
The show is gonna be an afterthought. Bella Ramsey's gonna be like 35.
Yeah,
like
yeah, and honestly, if they do a third one, I hope it doesn't have anything to do with the characters from the first and second game.
You're gonna play the whole game as like a 50-year-old Abby.
God damn.
Yeah.
And the whole game premise is finding her steroid supplier, because goddamn girl, ain't no fucking way. But speaking of that, just really quick here, it's always interesting for me looking at certain adaptations, because like, look at what the MCU was able to do with their adaptations. Especially in those first 3 phases, how they were able to take like Iron Man's like early 2000s origin and make that into a perfect movie, a perfect origin movie.
Right.
How they're able to utilize like Winter Soldier and adapt it, Civil War, the 2006 Guardians of the Galaxy run into like this really excellent movie that's like pays perfect homage to the comics. And it's like, seeing those adaptations are like, man, that's really fucking cool and clever, but there's certain things that you have to change, because certain things work in comic books that don't work in a movie, and vice versa. And it's like, that medium shift has got to be way bigger, I assume, for like video game to movie, or TV show. And the reason I was thinking about that is because I'm sure you've heard that I believe it's Sony in association with HBO again. They're trying to do a God of War TV show.
And I really do think that one is way harder than this one, because the budget is going to have to be absurd.
Where do you start that game at? That movie.
I don't know, man. It's going to be a TV show. Yeah. I guess maybe you would try to follow a similar format of this, and you would try to adapt the first game. But then I'm like, your viewers aren't going to get that. So, like, do you try to maybe do like a condensed version of the very first 2 God of War games in like a season 1, and then maybe like 3 in a season 2, or more accurately, you probably would do 2 seasons, and you would do God of War 1, 2, and 3, and then in season 3 you time skip it and you bring Atreus in and start at the God of War 2018 game,
right?
Because I feel like there's no way to tell the Norse story without the Greek story in the background.
Yeah, that was my hang up.
Yeah. Unless they're going to do like a Lord of the Rings style, like 10-minute opening where Kratos is like, I was bored one day, Sparta. and our God showed up, and he was a dick.
I think you may have just given it away.
Oh, yeah, okay.
If I'm being completely honest, I think that they're going to try to fast track it because if we're being honest, they don't care to adapt the first 3 games. They want to do 2018 and Ragnarok.
Yeah, and that's what we want to.
Yeah, and that's what we want too.
Yeah.
But like you said, you can't do that without that original trilogy.
So I will say this. If they adapt those storylines, I am officially over the gruff older guy escorts a younger kid around. Mm-hmm. That trope's done for me. Like
it's done.
You had Mando and Grogu.
Yeah.
Fantastic. We even got a second Pedro Pascal version of that.
Right.
With Ellie and Joel. We got...
a few years ago, we got Logan.
We got Geralt and Ciri. Which that's about to be over with, so, you know.
Yeah.
And then they'll do Kratos and Atreus, and then I'm done. Like, after that, sorry, like, you got to find another trope to exploit.
Right. Got to find something else to do. What would be the next big craze? Because right now, that's the one.
Well, Last of Us could revive zombies. I hope not, though. That was a dark time.
It was a long, dark phase.
Maybe vampires will come back.
Only if Blade is like amazing.
Oh yeah, that would be incredible.
Blade is amazing. I think it will.
Or here's the thing: is like we talk about like time being cyclical and how like everything just repeats itself. I mean, Yellowstone is a huge deal. It has spawned off these massive like prequels and everything else. I mean, the Western could come back.
It could.
I mean, I would say honestly, it is back to an extent. It's not, where the superhero genre is now, where it's like everything was a damn Western. But like right now, I mean, I would say that, it's at least a resurgence. It's in like the top 3 genres, I would say right now.
Yeah, and I'm not mad at that. I mean, yeah. So everything being in a cycle does work best, except for superheroes. I'm going to need those to keep going on.
I think they will, man.
Yeah.
Like if you listen to Kevin Feige talk about it, he was like, they were in the middle of making the Sam Raimi trilogy and, the X-Men movies started coming out. And back then people went, so when do you think this superhero craze is going to end? And that was in what, 2004?
Yeah.
Yeah. So and they were like, oh, well, it's got to be getting over with now. And then also, I mean, you remember when Batman versus Superman came out and Civil War came out, people were like superhero fatigue. And that was 2016.
Yeah. And that was also like very very bizarre timing, because one of them was just starting the universe and stumbled out the gate. And the other one was in the midst of, getting to like their big triumphant moments,
right?
And so I'm like, how in any way would there be a dying craze right now?
Speaking of superheroes, did anything happen, lately in the superhero game that might have caused us to, to do this? You just,
I thought you just wanted to hang out.
I thought so too. Yeah.
I figured we just turn on the microphones.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I guess there was something that happened.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, man. Something with superheroes.
Man, what was it? Was it the it was DC related. The DC Legos video game. I had replayed that. Yeah, and it actually still holds up pretty good.
Yeah, I actually thought that it was going to be the reveal that we're going to have not only Aquaman and Lobo, but also Barry Allen, all going to be played by Jason Momoa now.
Holy shit.
Not a thing. That's not a thing.
Yeah, take my money. Like, just go ahead and take it all.
In the same movie.
Yeah, all in the same movie. That would be amazing.
He's going to do an Eddie Murphy, but with superhero characters.
But he placed them all the same.
The same exact way.
Yes. Well, homies, Caleb does bring up a really excellent point, but before we get too far into things, we do have to bring this thing in proper. So, homies, one and all, welcome back to a very special episode of the Superhero Homies podcast. My name is Quentin, and this time I am here with my good friend, the homie Caleb.
What up, what up? So glad to be back here on the show. The last time I was in this room, I was in immense pain. Yeah,
we were dying. There's this still photo that you sent from the Hot Ones challenge that we did. You guys should really check that out, by the way. I advise checking out the video especially. You guys can catch that on YouTube. What is the official name of that on the Entertainment Evolved YouTube channel?
So, Entertainment Evolved YouTube channel, it's on there. I believe you can just do the Hot Ones Challenge, but I think the full title, I think it's Podcast United and then the Hot Ones Challenge. But yeah, if you go to the Entertainment Evolved YouTube channel, it's right there near the top. So it'll be pretty easy to find.
Yeah. There was one still photo that you sent from that the Hot Ones Challenge of you and I in particular, and we looked like we were in court, and the judge is like reading off our the time that we're getting.
Yeah,
and like, and 5 years for attempted armed robbery, and another 10 years for aggravated assault, and like the look on our faces is just like fuck.
Yeah.
That's what it reminded me of.
There were some incredible stills from that. Not to get too much into a like video production episode here, but I actually filmed that at 60 frames so that if we needed to do like some slow-mo like reaction stuff, we could do it. There wasn't anything that bad, but people seem to be really loving that episode. Yes. I think it's in the hundreds of views now.
Yes.
Getting some good reactions on there. People really like it. And I am happy to say that there is more. We actually have some like bloopers and outtakes and stuff from that still, and we're going to put those out at some point. So whenever I get bored and want to cobble all that together.
That was so much fun.
There's also a good like 3-minute chunk of us all combining our powers trying to get one of the mics to work.
Oh, yeah, there's that, too. And by the way, we failed. We lost.
Yeah, we failed horribly, yeah.
Yeah, you think, like, all those podcasters there, and we couldn't get a fucking microphone to work. It's the damnedest thing.
Yeah, and then what we ended up actually setting up, we didn't use.
Yeah. We didn't even use. Like, your cell phone did the job, like, perfectly.
Yeah, the audio of that mic was trash.
Oh, shit. But the reason we're here today, homies, is to talk about the recent news, the very recent news of the new DCU slate. And this pairs perfectly with the episode that Kevin and I literally just did about 24 hours ago.
It's a sequel.
Yeah, it's a sequel. This is the fastest sequel turnaround that you guys will ever get.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
But, yeah, with that being said, we knew that that James Gunn was going to announce the latest slate of DC films and television shows, and so now we have the slate here, and I was really excited to see this, and I'm really excited for a lot of these projects here that we have to announce and talk about here, and this is going to be known as DCU Chapter 1: Gods and Monsters.
Yes,
I dig that name a whole lot. I guess it's more the implications that I like more than anything else.
I really love that because I love the Bruce Timm Gods and Monsters animated movie that they did a couple years ago.
Yes.
I absolutely dig that. It's my favorite Superman, actually. And then so let me be honest, and I'm sure we're gonna get there. When they read off Chapter 1 Gods and Monsters, I was like, okay. I was like, you got my attention.
All right.
And then, then it was just like, I wasn't super overwhelmed by, I wasn't over or underwhelmed. I was just whelmed by what followed.
Gotcha. I think maybe for the most part, I feel the same way, but there were a few things in here that really popped me, that really got me excited.
We'll get there, but I can guess what they are right now. Do the words Grant Morrison have anything to do with it?
You don't know me.
Okay. All right.
But yes.
Yeah, I thought they might. And that also popped me as well. And let me just, anything that I'm going to say here tonight about this lineup, let me just go ahead and preface it with this. James Gunn made a multi-billion-dollar franchise about a green space assassin, a talking raccoon, a fucking tree that says one thing over and over again. Like, he has a lot of credit, and I would never doubt this man. Now, if these start to come out and they are garbage, then fine. But this guy also came out with a show about John Cena wearing the most ridiculous superhero costume on the face of the earth, and I loved it. So, he's got credit in the bank, man. He's got a lot of credit with me.
Same here. And just one quick note, man. Like with Peacemaker, had anyone else, and I stand beside the statement, had anyone else made that TV show, they would have changed his outfit.
Right.
He would not have that attire.
Right.
James Gunn leaned into it.
Yeah.
That's what he does. He loves the obscure. And you can tell. He even talked about that to a certain degree.
Well, that's very useful right now because we've talked about this a lot. You cannot come out of the gate with an average superhero movie anymore.
Right.
Because it's been done to death. And if you come out of the gate with a 7.0, I don't care how novel your script is, it's been done better already.
Yeah.
You got to come out with an 8.5 today.
You have to. And that's just the truth of the matter. Because now you're not just competing with other Hollywood movies, you're competing with the superhero movies that have came before you. And so they have their work cut out for them, to say the least. But we can go ahead and get into this. So the first movie here that we should talk about is Superman Legacy.
Okay, so we're starting there.
Yep.
Because there is an animated thing that's technically coming before this. But,
okay, you have them in the release dates in order?
Well, I do, yeah.
Okay, yeah, we can do yours then.
Okay,
that'd be better.
All right. So the first thing that's actually coming out, although Superman is that's what we're waiting for, but the first thing that's actually coming out is like an animated show called Creature Commandos.
Yeah.
And James Gunn wrote all of these episodes himself.
All 7.
7 episodes already been written, and this thing is so I know Weasel is in it. And what's interesting is that they, I don't have the whole lineup here. I'm assuming you got that over there, but they actually are looking for voice actors that will also play these same characters in live action, which tells me that they at least have their shit together on that front.
Right. And that's pretty exciting. Hopefully Sebastian Stan isn't cast in any of this.
Right. Oh my God. Sebastian Stan as Weasel.
Yeah, so like the original Creature Commandos, I mean, they're pretty old school, kind of obscure comic books, but I mean, basically they're about a group of monsters who were tasked to take down the Nazis during World War II. And it was like Frankenstein's monster, it was like a werewolf, you had vampires, things of that nature, and they were all teaming together to fight Nazis. So it's pretty crazy shit, and you can see why something like this would be very appealing to James Gunn. And like you mentioned, he is not only writing this, but he's already written all 7. Is this a TV show or a movie?
This is going to be a TV show.
Okay.
7 episodes, yeah.
That's what I thought. Because I had 2 conflicting reports here. One said that it was a 7-episode series, and then the other thing said it was going to be like an animated movie. And I was like, motherfucker, which one? So yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah, I like that they're already spanning animation.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I has been one of my heavy criticisms. Geez, words are hard. Heavy criticism of Marvel has been how disconnected, even though they're technically in the same universe, most of the TV stuff on Disney Plus feels very disconnected from what we're getting in the cinema. And it seems like that DC already has a leg up on that because, with Peacemaker, we saw most of the cast that was, still around
right.
From Suicide Squad. Like most of those same people were there,
Yeah.
So, I think that creating a more cohesive universe across the different mediums is fantastic. And James Gunn has said that that's going to include animated shows, TV shows, and video games even.
And that kind of connectivity is the opposite of what the DCEU was, whereas everything felt so disjointed and separate from one another. And in a lot of cases, they were. They just didn't have any kind of cohesive union in the DCEU. And so far, yeah. It's going to be pretty exciting to see what happens here with Creature Commandos. Obviously, we don't have a whole lot of information yet, other than 7 episodes already written by James Gunn. James Gunn is also very hands-on. I was very surprised to see how many of these projects he has like a direct control over.
You know, and I think that's going to be the contention. And honestly, this whole thing may live or die on that because we're going to have to see how much James Gunn can get away with, like writing and directing, since he's running the studio.
Right.
You already let the cat out of the bag a little bit with Superman. He wants to direct it.
Yeah.
Peter Safran
wants him to direct it.
Everyone wants him to direct it. I actually think a James Gunn Superman is like one of those things where it's like that could never happen, and now it could happen. You know?
Right.
I think it would be tremendous because obviously he knows the exact tone that he's looking for, and honestly, it's brave coming out of the gate with Superman.
It is. It's weird though, right? Because it's brave, but it also makes a lot of sense. It's brave because people are still upset about Henry Cavill not returning as Superman. But it's also a smart move because Superman he's a heavy hitter. He's a very popular, well-known character, and it makes sense for you to kind of lean into that a little bit. But this movie is going to be called Superman Legacy. Do you have the release date in front of you for that one?
Let me see. So it was what, 2025?
2025.
Yeah. I completely lost my spot here. So.
Oh, same here.
Yeah, I'm like way ahead here. So Superman Legacy, July 11th, 2025. It like you just said, man, it does feel weird to be like, yeah, it's brave for them to start off with a member of the Trinity. But given the turmoil that Superman has been through,
Yeah.
I actually just I told you I've been watching Man of Steel.
Yeah.
I won't go into why I originally was watching it, but I finished it. I was like, you know what? I haven't watched this whole movie in a while, and I actually finished it yesterday.
That's surprising.
Yeah, I actually watched the whole thing. There's just some weird stuff in that movie, man. I forgot about where he has the tentacle fight with the World Engine and shit.
Yeah.
It's just there's some bizarre stuff in here. There's so much in that movie that works, and so much of it that doesn't. And I'm just like, this could have worked. So many people consider Superman in the modern day to be unfilmable, but he's not, man. You just have to do things that are gonna appeal to today's audiences. So you got to listen to your audience for one. You got to have your finger on the pulse, and I think James Gunn does. And then you got to honor your source material, but you also, it's got to be grounded somewhat, right? As grounded as a movie about a dude who wears tights and flies around and shit, from another planet can be.
Right.
We talked about this a bunch, but Michael Shannon's Zod was perfect.
Oh yeah,
It was tremendous.
As a matter of fact, Kevin and I, we talked about that just yesterday even, when we spoke about Man of Steel, and Michael Shannon he was an amazing Zod. But they do say a little bit here about this Superman reboot, and I guess it does need to be stated, this is a reboot. Everything is a reboot.
Well, and that's important is they said that The Flash is going to reset us.
Yes.
So I think we're going to get the Flashpoint ending.
Yeah, and hopefully we get that true Flashpoint ending.
I just want the letter. That's all I want.
Come on.
I just want Ben Affleck with the letter.
Right.
Just give me that, James Gunn, and I'll score your next couple movies of 10. Just go ahead and get you out the gate.
Right.
We'll go ahead and give you a couple freebies.
That's right. Get a couple freebies. Start you out the gate hot. And that's something that you and I spoke about here. Not to derail us, but in the past, you and I have spoken about how we weren't sure if the Flash movie was going to reset the DC universe simply because Aquaman was going to come out after the Flash movie, and that's still a part of the DCEU. And so what's really going on here? But this does confirm it. The Flash movie will be the reset button. And so, yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see exactly what that does for the DCU. And also James Gunn, I don't know if he's just blowing smoke like all producers do, but he's had some really high praise for this Flash movie coming out. I don't know if you've seen it. And
they really reiterated that, I think, to the press, too. And I'm like, we get this all the time.
All the time. Yeah.
When Batman vs Superman came out, they were like, everybody inside of DC has watched this movie, and they all say that it is better than The Dark Knight. And I was like, well, that's going to be amazing. I can't wait to see that.
Yeah.
And then I'm sitting there in the theater like, you motherfucker.
You lying. Yeah.
Had you guys seen The Dark Knight when you said this?
Right.
Like, what are they passing? Like, what kind of John Peters like cocaine are they passing out around inside of?
Well, that's the thing. John Peters was the only one in the press screen. He was
like, that was tremendous. There wasn't a spider, so 9.5.
Yeah.
That's tremendous. Magnificent.
That's brilliant. God damn.
But and a lot of people have been saying, that, hey, well, I like some of the DC, stuff, and so do I, and so do you. Mm-hmm. But, like I said, I was watching Man of Steel yesterday. There's that line where, Kal-El asks him, he says, if you're going to bring Krypton here, what happens to Earth? And Zod says, the foundation, there's got to be a foundation to be built upon. So,
yeah,
that's where we're at.
Right.
So it's like, look, if you guys want, if you want DC to really bring it, then sometimes you got to burn the forest down. And here we are. Yeah,
here we are. Those poor little Bambis and rabbits, they'll find another place.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this, one more thing about the Superman movie is that, like, all of, like, the pictures associated with this movie is from a Grant Morrison Superman story.
Yes.
Known as All-Star Superman. And the interesting thing about that is All-Star Superman, I'm not certain that this movie will have take a whole lot of influence from that comic book. But I think this movie is going to try to have the emotional gut punches that come along with All-Star Superman. And basically what that movie is about, or what that comic book is about, is Superman, he gets over-radiated from the sun, and so he gets superpowered, even more so, which is great. But the downside is he's now dying, like it's slowly burning out his cells. And so Superman has about a year to live. And you end up seeing Superman, living out his last days on Earth. And what that comic book really is about, and one reason why it's considered one of the great modern-day Superman stories, is because it really explores him as a character, and it really is like an emotional undertaking. And I was thoroughly impressed with it when I read it, and it'll probably be one that we cover sometime down the line, probably before the movie comes out. But I think that this movie will function like that from an emotional standpoint, but obviously they won't be killing off Superman in this movie. So
right, yeah. I actually think, there's a Batman movie on here too, and we need another Superman and Batman origin story about like we need another Spider-Man origin story. Not at all.
Yeah.
Not interested. And I'm really glad that they're going in this direction. I'm assuming that All-Star Superman's probably on this.
No, I just had it on the actually on the app. Oh, okay. I've been trying to get a deluxe copy of it, but
good luck now.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm sure they'll they won't be in demand now,
right?
At all. But yeah, I mean, I'm hyped for it, and for me to be hyped for a Superman movie,
it's a tall order.
That is a tall order, and credit to James Gunn. I actually think he's really excited about this.
Yeah,
and the fact that he's really excited about this and he wanted it at the front tells me that they have something really good planned. And it sounds like the main struggle in this movie is going to be him struggling with his humanity versus his Kryptonian heritage.
Right.
And that is a great fucking Superman story. And the parts of Man of Steel that were about that were tremendous.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was like, it feels like he's using what worked from Man of Steel, but to like a less divisive degree.
Right. And I really hope that he gets into that, and also that they have to cast it right.
They have to cast it so well.
I mean, they're gonna have to cast somebody to play Superman for the next decade.
I was gonna say the next 10 years. Yeah.
So, you think Nicolas Cage is still up for it? Or?
Listen, if they want to do Bizarro, I'm down for Nick Cage.
I would pop hard for that. Actually,
just don't tell Nick he's playing Bizarro, and it'll be perfect.
Right, just play this like you're actually Superman.
Right.
That'd be amazing. That's perfect, actually. I really need that
What's next up?
The next thing we got on this list, I actually got the whole thing pulled up now.
All right.
We actually got a Waller live action show, presumably on HBO Max or whatever it's being called by then.
Right.
HBO Corporate Discovery Merger Plus.
I was really excited to hear about this, actually.
I mean, once again, I don't know if you recall this, but when they first announced that Amanda Waller was going to be in the first I almost said Supersonic. Hopefully that movie is also coming out, but it's not part of this.
Yeah.
Suicide
Squad.
Yeah, the first Suicide Squad, I was like, CCH Pounder or no one. Like, I refuse to accept anyone else. She's one of my favorite actresses. She had done the voice work in almost all the animated movies.
Right.
I was like, that's who I want. They cast Viola Davis, and I was like, okay, I'll give her a shot then. It's Viola Davis. She's knocked it out of the park every time.
Every time. Yeah.
So, and this is supposed to bridge the gap between Suicide Squad season 1 and Peacemaker season 1 and Peacemaker season 2.
Okay. Yeah. And I think that'd be interesting here. Just because Amanda Waller, she's one of those characters she's like the anti-Nick Fury, if you think about it.
Right. Yeah.
Well, maybe she is just like the Nick Fury, because Nick Fury is shady as hell too.
Well, she's kind of like what the Security Council wanted Nick Fury to be in Avengers, where they were like, well, this is going south. Let's just nuke that shit. Amanda Waller would be like, okay, where the button?
Yeah, she's like, I already hit the button. I thought we were decided on that.
Yeah, I nuked him 5 minutes ago.
Right. So other than what you just mentioned, we really don't have a whole lot to go off of here as far as what this show is going to be about. It just says here that this series appears to explore the ramifications of the ending of Peacemaker, and like you said, it's going to kind of be the bridge between season 1 and season 2 of Peacemaker.
And presumably, her daughter will be in it as well.
I would imagine so.
I really hope so. Yeah. I love that actress.
Yeah,
I can't think of her name right now, unfortunately, but
yeah, me either.
But she is tremendous. She's from Orange Is the New Black.
That's where I first saw her from. I knew she looked familiar when I saw Peacemaker, but I couldn't place where I saw her from.
Yeah, I loved her in that, and then I really loved her in Peacemaker as well. So I'm assuming that they'll explore that relationship a little bit. I'm excited. Like I said, I'll watch it either way.
Oh yeah. So. And so that is going to be Waller. They should have just called it The Wall.
Yeah, I agree. I hope maybe they workshop that a little bit, because it's like Waller just kind of it doesn't. It's not a marketing phrase, you know what I'm saying? It's not. Yeah. It's not smooth. But yeah, The Wall, I'd be all about it. There's already a TV show called that, though.
Maybe, that's problematic.
Yeah, maybe they have to do something else.
Yeah. Okay.
Next up is another movie, The Authority. I know nothing about these guys, so this is all you. Inform me about what this is going to be about.
Yeah. So The Authority, they're like the simple way to put it would be like an edgelord group of superheroes. Think about like one of your favorite TV shows, The Shield.
Yeah.
And like Vic Mackey.
Yeah.
So think about like a superhero team comprised of like varying degrees of moralities of that character.
Okay. I see.
This was
a lot of people are going to get shot.
Yeah. This was a comic book that was written by Warren Ellis. He actually did one of my all-time favorite books that ties into it, called Planetary. And if you guys have the opportunity, I highly suggest you read Planetary. But a tie-in for that was some of the Authority issues, and that was my first introduction to them. And then I was like, I need to know more about these characters. And so I was trying to get the absolute editions of Authority, so I was waiting out. But now I might just have to get them however I can, because now that this movie has been, or this TV show has been announced, I'm sure that the Authority will be very hard to get my hands on. But I was very surprised to see this. But I mean, it makes sense. Recently in DC Comics, Superman has been hanging out a lot with them. So
I was gonna ask you, like, is this the thing that surprises you the most on this slate? Because it is completely out of nowhere. And also, like, I think 2025 is around the time we're going to get the Thunderbolts movie as well.
Oh, so yeah.
I hope we don't have, like, a whole thing where it's like we have the Suicide Squad, we have the Thunderbolts, and we have the Authority, and they're all in a very similar kind of gray area. We could be looking at another like collateral damage thing where that gets really saturated.
Right. I hope not. It was be like, what was it, 1997 when we got Dante's Inferno and Volcano.
Yeah,
like the same year, and people were like, which movie was which?
Or whatever year that what was it, Armageddon and Deep Impact came out.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's the other one. Yeah. So hopefully we don't run into that again. I'm cool if that does not happen. And so hopefully these all feel different enough so that they don't feel like they're bleeding over.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope so. This is the wild card out of the whole list for me. Like, some of the, so, it kind of vary with it. Like, some of the stuff on this list is for me, some of it's not for me. And then this one, I'm just kind of like, WTF.
Yeah, you don't know what to do with it.
I'm going to show up. I'm going to be in the theater because we're probably going to review it.
Did they say movie or TV show for this one?
This is a movie.
Okay, yeah.
They kind of are going like movie, TV show here.
Yeah,
which is smart.
Now. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it says Saffron here, the way he talks about it, says the authority is kind of like Jack Nicholson in A Few Good Men, saying that they know that you want them on the wall, or at least they believe that. It'll be interesting here.
I am really excited, I think, and maybe even more excited than anything about the next item on this list, which is the Booster Gold TV show.
I did not see that coming.
I did not. I knew that there were rumblings about them doing a Booster Gold something, and I thought they were going to try to do a movie. But I actually think Booster Gold is going to work better as a TV show.
Mm-hmm. I didn't expect you to be so excited about a Booster Gold project.
I'm a big Booster Gold fan.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I love Booster Gold. Like it's just it's such a cool idea for a character.
Yeah,
you've got a guy who is from the future and wants to be a superhero and he can't.
Right.
So he goes in. He finds a way to get to time travel back into the past, so that all of his rudimentary as fuck superhero technology just seems like he's a superhero.
And that is like a really amazing concept for like a douchebag hero.
Yeah.
It would be like if we had time travel and it was like, man, I could go back to like medieval times and be a fucking king.
Yeah.
And doing that. That's his idea here. I do think that does work really well as a TV show. And I think it also works well to maybe even bring in other heroes if they want to, especially like Blue Beetle. There's definitely like a real team up bromance between those two. So that'd be a lot of fun to see.
Just seeing this, since you mentioned it, does seeing this slate give you any like feelings one way or the other on my call that Blue Beetle movie not coming out?
Kevin also thinks that the Blue Beetle movie probably will not come out.
At least not for a while. Like, it might probably get shelved. Like Black Adam was in development for like 13 years.
That's true. Here's the thing about that Blue Beetle movie, this doesn't make a difference now, we know, but I was going to say, use the defense that it's already finished, but so is Batgirl.
Yeah.
The only reason why I think that they would push it back would be because they would probably want to reshoot some of the scenes with Ted Kord, who was the second Blue Beetle, who was the one who teams up with Booster Gold.
Right.
So I can definitely see them pushing it back for that reason. But I don't know what Jaime Reyes, like the current Blue Beetle, I don't know what he has to do in the grand scheme of the DCU. That's the one that's the most up in the air for me.
Yeah, I mean, they can always kind of use him in almost like a Ant-Man MCU role where, like, he's got some kind of meaningful, overarching kind of something to do with the plot. Like, he might show up and, like, save the day or whatever.
Yeah.
It just kind of depends. Like, he works really well as a supporting hero.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's a place for that character.
Really quick here, before we continue on with the list, I was very surprised. Well, you know what? No, not really, now that I think about it. But one thing that I would have tried to jump on, we know that the Titans TV show is ending, as well as Doom Patrol. One of those I'm a little upset about, and the other one is Titans.
Yeah, right.
But if I were James Gunn, I would have jumped at the opportunity to do them right. Like a proper Teen Titans, especially since it is inevitable that we get Young Avengers with Marvel. And
I think maybe they're letting it breathe because, like, obviously the Titans show that's out now. Like,
yeah.
Everybody who was going to watch that, it was watching it.
Yeah.
And everybody else is not for a reason.
Yeah.
So I'd say maybe chapter 2, chapter 3, you bring that in.
Yeah. But because of another project that we're going to talk about here in a little bit, maybe we get it sooner than that.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah.
Man, just go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off. This next is going to be very divisive between the two of us.
Is that the next one?
Yeah.
Brave and the Bold?
Brave and the Bold. Yeah.
So remind me again, what are your feelings on Damian Wayne?
I think he's a real piece of shit, Morty. Hire me, Cartoon Network.
Are you not excited to see a live-action Damian on screen?
Here's the thing, man.
Yeah.
Just like with Booster Gold just now, like that Booster Gold is going to live and die on how charismatic of an actor they can cast. Obviously, since Flashpoint is going to reset it all, and I honestly think Chris Pine would be a great choice.
Oh, wow. He would be.
Yeah. Just he can pull off that kind of like dorky optimism kind of deal, you know?
I always thought that Nathan Fillion would have been a great Booster Gold.
Yeah, but he's going to be like 65 when that movie comes out. So. But yeah, he would have been an amazing Booster Gold for sure. They have a lot of options, you know? Honestly, in a pre-Loki world, what the fuck is his name?
Tom Hiddleston?
Yeah, Tom Hiddleston actually would have been a great one too.
Oh, wow,
you know?
yeah.
But I think he's typecast when it comes to superheroes now. So,
that's true, yeah.
You know, but like he could pull it off like a completely different version of him. After last week, I'm convinced that Nick Offerman can play any character ever, anywhere.
Right.
So, yeah. But anyway, shout out to him.
Brave and the Bold, for those of you who don't know, this will be a Batman movie that will finally give us some incarnation of the Bat family on the big screen. And we are getting Bruce and Damian. We're getting that duo of Batman and Robin. And again, it looks like they've gone to the Grant Morrison well for the inspiration here. I'm really excited about this.
I like some of those things you just said. I like that we're going to get another Batman. I like the Grant Morrison influence. I'm a big fan of Grant Morrison and Batman. But surprisingly, that statement kind of contradicts with my feelings on Damian. I have always said that the Bat family is I haven't always said this, but for the last several years, I've said that that the Bat family is the one aspect of Batman that has not been explored in cinema.
Yeah.
They've explored every facet of him. They've explored the whole, that the mask is the real him, and
right.
Bruce is actually the mask. I love that. They've explored like the how far is too far for like a unregulated like vigilante to go.
Right.
Is he a terrorist? Like they've gone to all of that with like the overreach of his technology and like Dark Knight and everything. They've covered the more like gothic side of him. The more sort of predatory sort of aspects of him. They have not covered the Bat family in any significant way. The closest we got was Batman Forever.
Jesus, yeah. That was the closest by far.
And I love those parts of that movie.
Right.
Right. Had to be very careful. That's some of my favorite Batman in live action stuff. Period. Is like those interactions between him and Dick Grayson. In that movie, because they're really well done. I don't like that they're going straight into Damian. I think that establishing the family first and then adding Damian is a better way to go. But once again, like I said, everything tonight is prefaced with this. This is James fucking Gunn, and he made Guardians of the Galaxy a multi-billion-dollar franchise. No one here would have called that.
That's true. Yeah, no one here would have called that. And if you say you would have, you're lying.
So, I think that they can put Barbara and Tim and Dick in here.
Yeah.
And they can have Jason already be dead if they want. And I think they can do something really special with this and tell a good story. I hate seeing Dick Grayson shoved out of the way like this. And
Well, so here's why I don't mind that is Dick Grayson is a big enough character he can stand on his own and his own thing.
Yeah, I agree.
And also that opens up the door to because Dick can be used to really fill in any slot.
Nice.
You know, because like, do you want to have him oversee the Teen Titans? Dick can do that. Do you want to see him in this Batman and Robin movie? He can do that.
Also, yes.
I mean, and he can be like in any number of properties, and it would make perfect sense. You bring him in as Nightwing because, like, I don't think we need to see him as Robin at this point. You know, I mean, even though we haven't had a whole lot of opportunity to see him as Robin on the big screen, Dick Grayson as Nightwing is really what people know him as.
And honestly, like, if they're going to do this over a course of 10 years, they obviously can't cast like a fucking 13-year-old kid.
You're right.
They're going to need to cast somebody that's already like at least, 19, 20, whatever. They can go ahead and do like a Nightwing type thing with them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and from that aspect, sure. I do want to see that. I'm interested in it. Let's get some, some advice from All-Star Superman in there.
Right.
So. And
I'm glad you brought that up, too, because, there could definitely be some connective tissue there between that Superman and,
there should be.
Yeah.
There really should be.
Right.
Let's get a Teen Titans or a Young Justice.
Yeah.
Go that route.
Right.
Although in the Titan show, they kind of did both.
Yeah, they kind of combined the two. Yeah. So. Yeah. But yeah, super looking forward to that one.
So do you think this is do you think they go the League of Shadows route? Because you kind of have to. You
have to, right? Yeah. Because like, especially like the casuals, they're going to be wondering, who's this kid's mom,
Right. It's just, by the time this comes out, it will have been, almost a decade since Rises?
Rises was 2012, so...
Yeah, over a decade, yeah. Oh, wow, is it that old? Holy hell. All right, well, I'm off to the morgue after this. Damn.
Yeah, I know. That shit hurt.
Yeah, right. I was like, wait a minute. That movie looks really good.
Right.
Yeah. Rises has been around for a minute. So, yeah, I mean, it will have been over 10 years by the time this comes out. So, that's plenty of time to be on the shelf. I think it's still too early for another Joker. So, you know.
Yeah. And, with them using Grant Morrison's influence, they could do any number of things. But if I were a betting man, I would say that they also use this to springboard maybe Under the Red Hood.
Right.
And I think that would be like a great second movie to that.
With this whole slate, with them kind of waiting until today to put it out, I think they waited to the last minute because they wanted to have some casting news.
Yeah.
And I think maybe just things just didn't go all the way through like they planned.
Right. Because you don't want to rush it either,
Right. And I would love for them to come out and say, hey, Tim Drake's going to be in this. Dick Grayson's going to be in this. And come out and be like, hey, we cast Ra's al Ghul. We cast Talia. Here it is. Hell, this could be a Red Hood story, and we just don't know about it yet.
That's true. Yeah, and that would be amazing. But there's just so much great opportunity for that deadpan humor that Damian naturally brings, unintentionally so. So I look forward to that. The only thing that I will be missing is with them loosely adapting Grant Morrison's run, that was actually Dick Grayson for most of that run who was Batman. Bruce was dead for a lot of that.
Yeah.
And so you had Dick Grayson as Batman and having to deal with that stress and carrying that mantle, and at the same time having to deal with fucking Damian.
I love and hate those scenes.
Right.
I love where, all those tremendous lines that he threw in there.
Yes.
The especially from the animated, where he's like, I'm a wanted man. You weren't even a wanted child.
Right. And I'm like, Dick Grayson is such a good person. Anyone else would have thrown this kid off a fucking roof.
Yeah. Same, yeah. He's a real piece of shit.
Yeah.
They're going to have to cast that super well also.
Yeah, man. the kid from Umbrella Academy, you know, if he were like 5 years younger.
Perfect, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's going to be way too old by the time this comes out. All the Stranger Things kids are going to be like 30.
Right.
So can't do that.
Can't do any of them, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. There's not that many good child actors out there, so they're going to have to dig one up.
Yeah, they got to find some more real quick.
Yeah, it better not be fucking Timothy Chalamet as fucking Damian Wayne. I'll be livid.
Fucking no.
Oh, you know, they could use one of the Game of Thrones kids.
Who?
What's the one that you know, that's actually probably too close to be spoiling the finale, but you know, one of the ones that they just used, the younger ones.
Oh, from House of the yeah, you know that could work, yeah.
Yeah, one of those kids.
Yeah. Yeah, one of them is probably looking for work right now.
Yeah,
so.
that's exactly what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So.
That'd be perfect. Yeah. And also, it's HBO, and they love to use the same people.
That's true.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Do it. Yeah.
If not, though, they can probably call Christopher Nolan. He's probably,
You think Christopher Nolan will play Damian Wayne?
No. I mean, like, you know, he uses all the same actors all the time.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
He probably got like a Rolodex.
Right. He's like, have you tried calling Gary Oldman yet?
And they're like, what? How about Michael Caine? That's Damian Wayne.
Yeah. Cillian Murphy, final answer.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
He probably could pull it off, to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah.
They just like throw a little CG on there.
Oh, fuck. Just bring him back to Scarecrow. He can still do it.
That's true. Yeah, you can play Scarecrow at just about any age.
Right. And also, the man immediately doesn't look that much different.
Right. Yeah, he really doesn't. Yeah. They got to do that scene from the Harley Quinn show where he's like, I think we can agree they're the real villains here. You know, with the Scarecrow.
Oh, yeah. Yes. That was great.
And then, like, Damien just, like, spin kicks him or something.
Right. Yeah. Let's see what we got next.
Let's see. We got something that the homie Oz will be very interested in.
Oh, yes.
We have the Lantern Show. Folks, this was originally announced in 2015 at San Diego Comic-Con. I was in the room. I can attest to you that it did happen. It seems like sometime in 2026 we're finally going to get it.
So, okay, what happened was that when they announced the Green Lantern show at San Diego Comic-Con, you misread the time layout they had. You thought it said circa 2016.
But it's 2026.
It's 2026.
I see,
yeah.
It takes a while to gather that many lanterns together.
It does, you know.
Because, you know, they're all in different sectors of the galaxy, you know.
And, you know, space travel is still hard, so casting has been like a real bitch. You know?
Yeah, I can imagine.
So,
what do you think this is about, man? Because they're just calling it lanterns.
Yeah. So, we do know that it's going to center around Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan.
Very happy about that.
Likewise.
It's too late for us to get Idris Elba, but, you know.
Unfortunately,
he would fucking tremendous.
He would have been a perfect Jon Stewart. That would have been great. But John Michael Washington,
John David
Washington. Yeah, I combined like a comic book character there.
Yeah, I was
that's like Azrael.
Yeah,
that I threw in. But yeah, John David Washington. I think he'd be a great Jon Stewart.
Or just about anything.
Yeah.
But yeah.
He can really do.
He can play Hal Jordan for all I care.
Right. Right.
They should cast him as Hal Jordan and Ryan Reynolds as Jon Stewart. And just watch the internet implode.
Holy shit. I think I would implode. I don't know what would happen.
Do you think they get Ryan Reynolds a cameo in this movie just for shits and giggles? Because that would be, in the show, rather.
Oh,
it's
my
TV
gosh.
Show, so.
That.
James Gunn would do it. I mean, it's a James Gunn thing.
It is a very James Gunn thing to do. It's going to depend on the working relationship, I think, between James Gunn and Marvel. Because
that's true. He is under contract.
Yeah.
He's already said, though, he's not afraid to cast Marvel actors. Like, apparently there's not really anything in their contracts that prevent
them. Except for scheduling, right?
Yeah, the scheduling, and then the studios just, like, don't want people to, like, confuse them, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, they couldn't have cast fucking Robert Downey Jr. as like Superman. Like people would have been like, "What the fuck is Tony Stark doing here?" Like so,
right.
So I think that's probably got a lot to do with it. But actually, fuck a cameo. If it was me, you actually get Ryan Reynolds to play a ridiculously straight-laced character in the show the whole time, and they never wink at it or anything.
Right. That would be...
He never cracks a joke.
Oh my gosh. That would be ridiculous. Like, do you...
Because, every time his character's on the screen, you'd be like, we see you, motherfucker.
Right.
And he's just like, yeah, man, it's right down there. He's just kind of... I'm telling you, that's gold.
Yeah. That would be pretty fucking funny. But it looks like the premise of the show is going to have a mystery vibe. And it says here that they're investigating a mystery that is suspected to play a big role in the main story of DCU's Chapter 1. So whatever they're facing here is going to be something that is a pretty grand threat, or something that has bigger implications that they're going to drive throughout the DCU. I don't know what that means or what it is. But
so we're going to have a TV show that's going to actually factor into the overarching plot of the chapter.
As of now,
that's madness. Why would you do something so brave and yet so bold? You don't remember which button it is, do you? Yes! Yes! I rolled a 20, you rolled a 1. Because I know you were looking for the tuba or whatever.
No, I was.
Oh, you were looking for that one? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were looking for either the crickets or the tuba.
Oh, see, I can remember the tuba because like it almost sounds like a fart, and it's a fart green button.
Oh, I see. That's perfect. Yeah.
That's how I have to like match this shit up in my head.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think that this show has like a lot of potential to be something great.
Oh, for sure.
And Safran described Lanterns, and again, take all of like these producer notes with a grain of salt because they have to say shit like this.
Yeah, they all think their own shit is awesome.
Right.
I mean, just listen to like Peter Molyneux talking about any of his video games ever.
What games did he make?
All of the like Fable and
that guy.
Yeah.
Well, he just lied.
Or listen to James Cameron talk about any of his movies.
Right. But Safran describes Lanterns as a huge HBO quality event that is very much in the vein of True Detective. You know how like grandiose that is?
Yeah, I mean, which season of True Detective? I need you to narrow it down.
That's also very important. He should have said that's in the same vein. It's like seasons 1 or 3 of True Detective.
Yeah,
and I would, oh shit, that's fantastic, man.
Honestly, I'm hyped for all of this, but I'm really hyped for this.
Here's the best part of the Lantern show. It says here, Lanterns is separate from Greg Berlanti's planned Green Lantern series for HBO Max, which is confirmed to not be moving forward.
Okay, so that's the one they announced at Comic-Con. It's officially dead.
Right, yeah.
Look, if you announce... So James Gunn, if you're listening, buddy, you have a lot of credit with me. But if you announce that Greg Berlanti is attached in any meaningful way to any of this shit, you're losing at least half of that goodwill immediately.
Yeah, it's gone. And I don't know if you can get it back.
Yeah. You might as well just get John Peters. Like, I think I would rather John Peters over Greg Berlanti at this point. Because at least I get to see somebody fight a giant spider.
You get to see somebody fight a giant spider. That's true.
Yeah. That's his one point. Greg Berlanti is just going to be like a bunch of fucking pep talks.
Yeah, it's going to be a bunch of pep talks and some teen drama.
Yeah.
And that's going to be that.
So, I got to say, man, it's down to Superman. This is craziness. Superman Legacy Booster Gold and this next one for like my top 3 is like that I'm most excited about here. I'm hyped for this Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow movie.
Really?
Yeah. I really am because I actually love Kara. This is one of those things where a lot of people will be like, but you don't even like Superman. No, I don't. I think Kara is awesome, but I think he's lame. And I've always felt that way about Superman. Like, I think her story is so much more interesting than his. And this is a Tom King book that they're modeling this after, right?
That has me nervous because I haven't read that Tom King book, and he's very hit or miss with me.
Yeah, I did know that. that it could go one way or the other. But I think they're doing this like. So I might lose my nerd card here for a second, but there's a version of Supergirl's backstory where, like, her family, her part of the family was like protected, and they were in like a city or whatever after Krypton exploded. Like, I can't remember what the city's called.
I believe, not Kandor.
Karnak? No. It's something like that.
Yeah.
No, it is Kandor.
Okay, yeah, Kandor, because the rest of the city got actually shrunken down and saved, and Superman has actually kept it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he, like, doesn't know that that's what it is, right?
Well,
in some of the versions.
In some of the versions, he doesn't.
He just has it, and he's just like,
a relic from my home planet.
Yeah.
But it's like a whole civilization of people, like, bring us back to normal size.
Yeah. And actually, I really love that kind of mythology. I also like the version where, you know, she just, like, got caught in, like, a time warp or whatever, and so she shows up later. Like, I love this idea of her showing up on the planet, and there's already a Superman there, but she's, like, stronger than him and, like, can't control herself and things like that.
Right.
And I really think that if they played this movie well, that it could be tremendous. But once again, it's going to come down to the casting, and it's going to come down to them not doing like 90% of the shit that they have done with female-led superhero films up to date.
Yeah, and you know, it was weird because I was talking with Kevin about this just yesterday, but I was like, I'm not a big fan of the Wonder Woman movies, but I had no problem with how Wonder Woman was portrayed. I thought it was actually perfect, like how she was portrayed. I'm like, this is excellent.
As a matter of fact, in the Snyder Cut, she is tremendous.
Oh, yeah. That's my favorite live-action Wonder Woman in that movie.
Hands down, no competition.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Diana was great in the second Wonder Woman, too. Like, there's just not enough of her. There's just so much other nonsense.
Yeah. There's a lot of other nonsense. And kind of just to surmise what you said here, they have a note here from the press release where it says, we will see the difference between Superman, who was sent to Earth and raised by loving parents from the time he was an infant, versus Supergirl, raised on a rock, a chip off of Krypton, and who watched everyone around her die and be killed in terrible ways for the first 14 years of her life, and then come to Earth. She is much more hardcore and not the Supergirl we're used to. I really need to read that Tom King book and see what it's about. And literally with Tom King, guys, there is no in between. It is either like, this is really good, or what in the fuck is this? It's one of the two.
I think I'm actually going to pick up a copy myself and read that. So
same. I think that'd be really good here because I do like the character also of Kara, but it's one of those things where it's like, what will she be doing, and who are you going to put her up against, and how are we going to explain Superman's maybe perceived absence? Like, because if there's a threat that requires Supergirl, you also have to wonder where the fuck is.
Oh, he's got to be in this movie, right?
Yeah,
that's pretty much a deal breaker for me. If not,
he's got to be.
If a Kryptonian lands on Earth, unless they are going to give us some super good fucking reason in one of these other movies as to why Superman's not around, he better fucking be in this movie,
right?
Now there is a route you could go where maybe you do this thing where, like, you know, in the Lanterns show, like, Superman leaves Earth, like, whatever they uncover is such a big deal that Superman leaves Earth. And then you have a scenario like, I believe they actually did this in one of the animated movies, and they may have been pulling from the same material, where basically, like, Batman is the one that finds her. And he's just like,
he brings
the fuck.
Right. Batman's like, there's another one?
He's like, no.
I only got so much kryptonite.
Yeah, she's like, why do I feel sick? He's like, because I got some kryptonite right here. He's like,
glad you asked.
Yeah, he's like, are you one of the Zod ones or one of the Red Cape ones?
Which movie was that? Because that was a great animated movie. I remember that.
I think that's the first Batman versus Superman.
Is it? Okay,
or not
okay.
Batman versus Superman, but Batman and Superman.
Okay, that was the first one. Which one is it where Darkseid shows up at the end and just wrecks her shit, and then her and Superman have to team up?
That's that same one.
That's the same one? Okay.
Yeah, because it's the one where I think that's the one where Darkseid punches him through the barn or whatever.
Yes.
And up until Invincible, that was the hardest I'd ever seen anyone get hit. Because Darkseid hits the shit out of him.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit was nuts. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, it's out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You think Darkseid is gone or whatever. And then like they're just chilling and he just like busts through the wall.
Right.
And starts obliterating Kryptonians.
Yeah. Like it's his favorite pastime.
Yeah. 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 Batman was very happy he fucking stayed home.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, I'm so glad I stayed my ass at the cave. Fuck all that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a trip to a farm. These two Kryptonians should be able to handle that.
Right. Ain't nobody else out there. They'll be good.
Yeah. Yeah, who's going to mess with them anyway?
Yeah. What is next up on the list?
Next up, man, we have Paradise Lost.
Yes, the Wonder Woman prequel series. And
I
this
got
is
big
live
question
action,
marks.
right?
As far, yeah, this is live action. I got big question marks about this.
Same. I had when I first saw this and read the synopsis, I had to go ahead and in my mental Rolodex chuckle at all the sexist jokes so I wouldn't say them on the podcast. To man, I bet they're never gonna get shit done. Or what's another one I had? I mean, this show is probably going to be damn near perfect because of the gratuitous ass and titties. That was another one.
I mean, if it's set in what you think, 1700 Themyscira?
It could be. I mean, but it also could be irrelevant if they're just removed from mankind still.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, they got a monarchy, right? Because nobody can vote.
Yeah.
But it's...
I'll give you that one. I will give you that one.
Well, you were getting yours in. I had to get one in.
Yeah. You had to get at least one in. Yeah.
Look, I think the main problem with Wonder Woman is the fact that we don't have one in the modern era. Mm-hmm. This is the wrong direction.
Yeah, we're still going the wrong way. Yeah, and I think for me, the biggest problem with this is that okay, there's no Diana. That's the biggest problem. All right, I kind of want Wonder Woman in this Wonder Woman TV show, and for me, the second problem is that okay, there's no Wonder Woman. Are we even getting Hippolyta?
Right.
I mean, because if not, then I'm I have to watch this show and just go off your good faith that I'm going to get some interesting characters who I get to know and love.
I'm more worried about this than anything else on this slate. Unless they're going to start introducing the
Pantheon of Gods.
Well, I think they could do that, and I think they also could do the Atlanteans. They could go ahead and start to introduce that relationship between the two nations.
That would be smart.
Yeah, I mean, that would be something that would be interesting. I just hope this doesn't have any of the Star Wars kind of feel to it, the bad Star Wars. We don't have to name them anymore. Where it's just wink, wink, where there's gonna be a princess and. Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
Yeah, I just really hope that it's not this whole thing where we're heralding the arrival of Diana.
Yeah, we don't need to do all that.
And I feel like they said that they've been in talks with Gal Gadot and they don't know if they're going to move forward with her or not. Mm-hmm. And I'm this feels like they're just putting something in there
on hold.
Yeah, so that and that's smart. If you are going to get her back, mm-hmm. then you can go right into the modern era with her. If you're not going to get her back, then this is your origin kind of for a new Wonder Woman. I'm fine with it either way at this point. I never really was behind Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. I liked her portrayal. Mm-hmm. I liked what we got. I really enjoyed her in the Snyder Cut. I hate that damn theme they did for her, though. It's terrible.
Now I wish I had that as a button. I would press it every time you're here, even if it has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
I hate it so bad. It's horrible.
It's
It's just not. It doesn't flow well, and they just like hammer on the shit so loud you can't hear anything else going in the scene. Anyway, yeah, I hate it. But yeah, I think that if they do go with somebody else, I would prefer them to go with somebody who looks like an Amazon and not a supermodel.
That is. Who was cast back in like the '08 movie that never happened back in Justice League Mortal? Because they had her cast back then.
I have no idea, but like Rhea Ripley will be done probably with her in-ring career around this time. So
hey man, listen, if she can act, she's got a fucking future.
Yeah,
in Hollywood, that is. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, hell yeah.
They got Dave Bautista to act, so
Yeah, and Dave Bautista is actually he's really good.
I agree with James Gunn. He's the best wrestler turned actor.
James Gunn said that?
Yeah.
What the fuck did John Cena have to say about that?
He probably had to sit in the corner and admit to himself that he's right. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think that The Rock and John Cena are both more charismatic than Dave Bautista.
But I think that Dave does have more range.
Yeah, he has way more range.
Yeah.
If you watch Glass Onion versus, like seeing him in Guardians of the Galaxy or like when he was in one of the James Bond movies.
Yeah, he was in one of the James Bond flicks. He was in the Blade Runner.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got range.
Dune. He's in Dune as well.
Oh, that's right.
Although he just kind of plays his wrestling character in Dune. But, yeah, I mean, but because people typecast wrestlers in those type of roles, especially a big hulking guy like that.
Which is why he's lost so much muscle purposely, but he's still so massive.
Yeah. And honestly, like, he has the most range. I think as far as like an actor's actor, like he has better acting skills than The Rock or Cena. Mm-hmm. I will go see a movie with The Rock in it, but based off him being in it before I would with Dave. But he's the better actor.
No, I agree. Yeah. I was just so surprised to hear James Gunn say that when it seems like he and Cena are so close.
Hey, John Cena was probably in the room.
He probably was, yeah. The fuck Cena's gonna do about it? Cena's probably like, I don't know, man. That guy broke my neck, so I'm just letting him have this one. Oh shit! What were we talking about? Oh yeah, the Themyscira show.
Yeah,
Paradise Lost. Now Saffron says that this game or that this show has a Game of Thrones-ish story.
I'm so tired of people saying that about their show.
Me too. Did the people who made The Witcher say that, or did like the fan base just wish for that?
I think both. I think there's a little bit of both in there. Let me tell you something. A lot of shows since Game of Thrones came out have gone, this is Game of Thrones, but this. The only show, there's only two shows I think that can stand on that. One of them is House of the fucking Dragon, because it literally is Game of Thrones.
Right.
And the other one is Yellowstone, and they've never said that about their show. No, not one fucking person has ever, that works there has ever been like, yeah, this is Game of Thrones. Blah. But when people ask me what it's about, I go, it's redneck Game of Thrones, or it's yeehaw Game of Thrones, and not like, Southern redneck. It's like, Montana redneck,
right?
Cowboy Game of Thrones. And it's the only show that I think that's out there that has that level of like the political intrigue and like the like people aren't safe. Now I say that about the first 3 seasons. Mm-hmm. Now pretty much everybody's got like plot armor and shit. But hey, that happened to Game of Thrones also. So
that's true. Like the longer Game of Thrones went on, the plot armor got stronger. Until
in season 8, man, the main characters are like immortal.
Oh yeah. I'm like, okay, this is fucking. It's kind of like watching Die Hard,
yeah.
You got anything else on this Wonder Woman prequel show before we move on?
No, I will say this. Like, while I am the most worried about it, like, obviously, this is a thing where they can tell any story they want.
Yeah.
They just got to use these characters, and so the ball's in their court on this. It could go either way.
Right. And the interesting thing is that, like, theoretically, just because this is a prequel, it doesn't matter what time frame they set it in. They can introduce Wonder Woman whenever they want to, because she's old as dirt.
Right.
So
yeah,
whenever they're ready,
she's fucking immortal, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah. Last thing that got announced today, man, is the Swamp Thing movie.
Yes, and this is the last one that's gonna come out in this chapter 1.
Well, so they have. I think they have said that there will be more Chapter 1.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they said this is not all of it.
But this is what they have so far.
Yeah. Which makes me think that they may have like a team up movie or something towards the end. Maybe not the Justice League, because obviously they're missing a lot of them. But, that they might have some sort of a team up movie after this, maybe. But before we get ahead of ourselves, like, what do you think about Swamp Thing? You think they're going to go with our Greg Berlanti script that we wrote that time? Where he's like a florist.
Where he's a florist, a 35-year-old florist who gives advice to teenage Constantine and Zatanna.
Yeah, in the Justice League Dark.
Yeah.
Hey, man, that can already spawn off a whole other series for him.
Holy shit. Oh, my gosh. Now we said it twice. That's double the chances that Greg Berlanti hears this and tries to get it in production.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Swamp Thing is about to go out and fight some, beekeepers or something.
Yeah, eco-terrorists or some shit.
Yeah. Oh, no, but like the final like boss or whatever is Hazmat Franklin. He finally
Holy
comes back.
shit.
Yeah.
Because Hazmat Franklin, he's like a Nexus character, like he's like super ultra powerful.
Yeah, he can jump between franchises and everything. Yeah.
He's Hazmat Franklin.
Yeah.
You guys have been wondering where's he been for the past 2 years. He's been time traveling.
That's it.
Yeah.
he's universe hopping.
For those of you who have forgotten, shame on you. Hazmat Franklin was the beekeeper in WandaVision.
And we never saw that
we
guy.
We never saw him again. But yeah, this Swamp Thing movie, this also surprised me. Not as much as some other things, but this really did surprise me. Swamp Thing is an amazing character, and I'm really, really glad that he's getting his own movie. And now what Peter Safran says is that Swamp Thing is set to investigate the dark origins of the titular monster through the perspective of horror. And so they are trying to make this a horror movie. When it comes to superhero movies, there's been varying degrees of success in terms of having them be horror movies. But I think that the advantage that Swamp Thing has is that he is the monster. Whereas in so many other superhero movies that have tried to go horror, the monsters are always what's trying to stop the heroes with superpowers. But Swamp Thing is a little bit different. And with this one, man, I am, cautiously optimistic. They have to lean into the tragedy of the character, and they have to lean into, again, like the real horror aspects. But I mean, in all honesty, if they just adapt Alan Moore's Swamp Thing, they'll be good to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Alan Moore will be livid.
He will be absolutely livid, and it would be great.
I can't wait for the tantrum.
Oh,
for him to go on.
Well, no, first someone has to tell him about it.
That's true.
So it'd be like 10 years from now, and he'll be like, you guys should have never made that Swamp Thing movie.
I think there was like a recent person tried to like contact him about it or something. Like they sent him like an invite to come and like talk about like something they were adapting or something. It may have actually been what's his name? Your good buddy.
No, it was Damon Lindelof.
Yeah.
Wanted to talk to him about The Watchmen before it came out.
Yeah, and Alan Moore was like, "Don't fucking make it."
Yeah. Yes. And I'm like, Damon is a huge fan of The Watchmen, and I'm like, you should have known you were gonna get that response.
Yeah,
you
you're lucky he wrote anything back.
Yeah,
actually. Yeah.
Besides, fuck off.
Yeah, yeah. I really do think that this could be fantastic. Like how seriously the Sandman was taken makes me feel like we may get something really good here. So
yeah,
I mean, different production companies, but they might look at the Sandman and be like, "Oh, people really like that," so we can make something like dark and creepy. And
I'm still surprised that that Sandman was made under the Netflix umbrella. I'm like, really, you guys are gonna give Sandman to Netflix?
Yeah.
And I'm like, clearly someone at DC at that time didn't know what they had on their hands.
Yeah.
So that still surprises the fuck out of me. And I'm like, they're probably kicking themselves now because, there's a lot that you can do with Sandman. And now that money is going to Netflix.
And they're making more episodes.
And they're making more. Yeah, they're getting a season 2, right?
Yeah. Well, I do not think they're going to call it a season 2. I literally think they're just going to keep adding episodes.
That's interesting.
Like, I think they're just going to put out a couple episodes and then, do a couple more. And, I think they're just going to add. I don't think they're going to officially classify it as a season 2.
So that's interesting as fuck.
Yeah.
I never even thought about that kind of format.
Yeah. It's weird. Well, it's Sandman. It doesn't fit into a traditional.
It does not
format.
Yeah,
you can't take it. You can't take it and be like, here's the season 2 arc.
Right.
Fucking where?
Yeah. That's true. And now, do you think that Swamp Thing will really be the end of this phase?
I don't think so. It is important to note that that's not the last announcement because we also got a release date for Batman 2.
That's right.
Which is October 3rd, 2025.
Yes.
So we got that also. But back to your question, we'll swerve back around here. No Mr. Freeze casting yet. I don't think we should get a Justice League at the end of this chapter, whatever it is. I would like to see a Batman Superman, like a World's Finest.
That would be fantastic.
Because let me tell you right now, this phase we're going to call it a phase forever.
Yeah,
this chapter, it lives and dies on that Superman movie being good. If that Superman movie comes out and is hated, I don't see them recovering from that unless the rest of it is just tremendous. But you got to come out the gate with that Superman movie. And James Gunn knows that.
And I think that's why. Really good. And I think that's why James Gunn himself is writing the movie and maybe trying to direct it.
Yeah, I think he should.
Yeah,
because it's so important for them that movie nails it. And here's what I worry about too is we've talked about this before. With something this important, it's in danger of becoming a movie by committee. Where James Gunn makes what he wants, and then the executives look at it and they go, well, we should add this and this. And then, hopefully he's got the authority to be like, no.
Yeah, how much power does anyone have over James Gunn? Because it seems like he and Peter only answer to David.
Yeah, which is exactly how it ought to be.
Yeah.
So I really hope we just get, it doesn't have to be a 10.
Right.
If it's an 8, that's fine. Mm-hmm. They can live on an 8. But if it, comes out and bombs, then they're digging themselves out of a hole, in which case you could have just not rebooted everything if you were going to dig yourself out of a hole. You reboot to not have to do that.
But, I'm like, if this movie is so, what would you think if the movie falls in terms of quality, not in terms of tone or anything like that, but just in terms of quality? What if the Superman movie falls somewhere between the Suicide Squad and Guardians 2?
In the tone of the film?
No, in terms of quality.
The quality.
Yeah.
Well, I think above average. You mean the Suicide Squad, right?
The one that James Gunn made.
Yeah, the only one that counts.
The only one,
I was going to say that's a wide delta. I think if as long as it's as good as a Guardians 2, then that's probably okay. Mm-hmm. That makes the reboot worth it. I don't like Guardians 2.
Me either.
But it's not nobody's sitting around hating the shit out of that movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When people name their top 5 worst MCU movies, Guardians 2 never comes up.
Right. It's way down towards that for me though. But I'm not the target audience for any of this shit. Yeah,
me either. I don't need any baby Groots in my Superman movie. You know? But yeah, so and for me, I think that's the worst case scenario is that in terms of quality, this is a Guardians 2, and you can kind of feel with Guardians 2 where maybe there was pressure to, I don't know, maybe sell some toys or maybe beat you over the head with a theme, and I can see a Superman movie potentially doing that.
Yeah.
And so that is kind of what worries me about that. I don't really need Superman movie that beats me over the head with family or
Oh, please no.
Jesus, yeah.
No, I'll take a million more of the old gruff mentor and the young kid before I get another
Right.
family movie. Let me ask you this: Who do you think they cast as the villain here? Because as we talked about,
Yeah.
to have a great protagonist, you gotta have a great antagonist.
Man, so and this is not an origin story, so
Right.
that's also important.
Well, is there a central villain in All Star Superman?
No,
Okay,
not particularly. It's really about Superman himself.
they can do whatever they want.
Whatever they want, yeah. I mean, you can technically say Luthor, he's responsible for Superman dying.
Right.
And you know, you can always go with Luthor, but it's always in the how do you use him?
Right.
You know, because like it's like the Batman and Joker conundrum. In the hands of a good writer, Joker is this extremely credible threat, not physically, obviously, but in other ways, he's extremely dangerous. And that makes him this formidable foe for Batman. It's the same issue with Lex and Superman, but to a greater degree,
Yeah.
you know? So you can have Lex as your main villain, but what do you do with him, you know, to make him this formidable threat to Superman?
I just want to point out that Michael Rosenbaum is only 50. So
I gotta be honest, I didn't think he was that old. I mean, the guy looks great.
he does.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, he could. I got a feeling they probably want to cast a Lex that's around the age of Superman.
yeah, I agree, and it's a smart move,
Yeah.
and they probably will. But if you can't think of anybody,
Right.
Michael Rosenbaum's only 50,
Yeah.
and he can still be Lex Luthor, and he's the best Lex there's ever been. So
Yeah, agreed.
I can understand not going back to the well, but sometimes the well got some good stuff in it.
Right, yeah. People be throwing shit down that well. Like, this is some good shit down
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
Making a wish, throwing a coin down in there.
But besides Lex, who else do you think would be good for the villain?
Ugh, I mean, you can't bring any of the big heavy hitters in yet.
Right.
I don't want to see Doomsday in another fucking movie for at least 20 years.
Yeah, no, there's no need for Doomsday. You can't do Brainiac. Oh, can you do Brainiac?
See, here's the thing, man. Out of all the major Superman villains,
Yeah.
I think Brainiac is the most unexplored because the Kevin Smith's idea for Brainiac in the
Superman
in
lives.
Superman Lives was tremendous.
Yeah.
I want to see that. Do the whole deal where he's, got the menagerie on the ship and he wants to collect a Kryptonian and this is the
Right.
last one to his knowledge. And
Yeah.
his car is not there yet. And dude, sign me the fuck up.
Yeah.
But Brainiac is a big enough threat that he actually could be that world's finest villain. Like he could be the team up,
Yeah.
like he actually gets a hold of Super because Brainiac's not gonna fucking go 1v1 against a Kryptonian without some
Right.
way to fucking capture him or whatever.
Yeah.
That would be very un-Brainiac-y,
Right.
He's fucking ultra mega computer. So I could see that being a thing where he captures Clark or whatever and Bruce has got to save him or whatever they do with it.
I think it's even maybe more possible or plausible if they go with the origin story that Brainiac was a construct of Krypton.
Right. I love that angle.
Yeah,
As well.
yeah. Especially if they're running the whole angle of Clark trying to balance his Kryptonian with his human nature. I can kind of see maybe Brainiac kind of throwing a wrench in that.
You can't do Zod.
No. And again, nor should you. That's another kind of heavy hitter.
Now you could always do the whole thing where they could use Lionel and Superman inadvertently kills him.
Oh yeah.
Or maybe Superman doesn't kill him, but that's just how it looks.
Right.
And then you kind of create the Lex backstory all at one time,
So you kind of Harry Osborn that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, you could definitely do that.
It's been long enough.
It's been like a good 20-something years. So.
Yeah, these kids won't see it coming. And they can always put a spin on it,
Right. I mean, I joke about Bizarro, but you can't really.
Not in the first
Yeah,
movie.
yeah,
Please, no.
Yeah.
Nothing. we got to keep the spaceships and shit to a minimum.
Right.
In this first one.
Yeah.
You can do that later, but like not right off the rip, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Let's try to tone it down just a bit.
Right. And honestly, knowing James Gunn, he probably has some like more obscure villain in mind that he wants to bring up and use. So
probably.
But going back to Swamp Thing, did you have anything else about that? Like anything that you wanted to see particularly from that?
Honestly, with that one, the only thing I really care about is maintaining the integrity of the character.
Yeah.
And I hear that's important to you as well.
Some would say the number one thing.
Yeah. I really think that they have to really delve into the dark kind of horror elements of it. And that is something we have not really seen on the big screen. Like, the closest thing to that was fucking New Mutants.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay, yeah.
A movie that we weren't sure existed until we actually were watching it, and then we wished it didn't.
Right.
It was still better than fucking Dark Phoenix, though.
Yeah, somehow it was still better than Dark Phoenix.
Yeah. It was because Anya Taylor-Joy was in it.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Because Magic was actually awesome.
She was.
But that was it. So.
Yeah.
It's like I said, man, this lives or dies on the casting,
the
character integrity. Seems like James Gunn is going to be writing a lot of this.
Yeah.
But it's like, and from what I understand, there is like a team. They've got like a core team. And I think Tom King is involved, if I'm not mistaken.
He might be.
Yeah. So.
And, you know, it's like Kevin and I were talking yesterday, like Walter Hamada, thank God, is out.
Yeah.
Jeff Johns, thank God, is out. So, you know, like they had their own, like, kind of like Trinity head of DC Studios for a while that just was not fucking working out. I mean, I think that it can only get better from here in terms of that angle.
Yeah.
With this Swamp Thing movie, I gotta be honest, and this is just the fanboy in me, I need to see a Constantine cameo.
Yeah. who do you cast as Swamp Thing?
I was gonna say get Matt Ryan for Constantine.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Matt Ryan can play Constantine in perpetuity.
Yeah, well, he also voices him in a lot of the animated stuff.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm like, he's perfect. But for Swamp Thing, you know what? It's gonna come down to the voice. Swamp Thing's got to be CG. You know,
right? Of course.
I don't know, man, because it could. I don't mean it could be anybody, but you know.
I mean, they can't get Sebastian Stan. I know you were thinking.
That was my number one choice. You cannot destroy the green.
Yeah.
The green is everywhere.
I've got to go back and run my floral shop now. These teenagers need flowers to resolve their conflicts among each other.
I hope they bring Sebastian back for What If Season 2.
Just give him his own episode.
Yeah. Bucky's day off.
Oh my God. He just deadpans the whole thing.
Right. This is the best day ever.
Now, I think Swamp Thing is an interesting thing, no pun intended, for them to bring in, because you have to be really careful with how you use them. You know, you can't be in everything. You know?
Right.
This isn't This isn't like Batman. You can just throw him into everything.
Yeah.
Whatever threat they're going to uncover in the Lanterns show, it's got to be something crazy. Do you have any speculation about what that might be?
Oh man, it's too soon to do Darkseid.
Yeah.
And I would not even do any of like his lieutenants either. So no Callie back, no Steppenwolf, no Granny Goodness.
I honestly think Steppenwolf might just be off the table. Period.
Yeah, we may never get another Steppenwolf.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
So I hope you guys like the Snyder Cut.
Yeah, go ahead and throw him that Snyder Cut.
Yeah.
Where he was actually done justice.
Right. League.
Yeah. Rather than justice.
Right. But yeah, it's like, what could they find out there? I don't know, man. Space is a big goddamn place.
I mean, would you do like one of the lantern, like a Black Lantern type thing this early?
Ooh, I mean, so here's the thing. That is extremely dark, but it is way early.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah, I feel like you got to kind of
Yeah.
let the mythology kind of settle for
Right.
a while. That's like some chapter 3, chapter 4
Yeah.
shit. Yeah.
Um,
I mean, obviously though, they have to build to Darkseid at some
point, right? Yeah.
And you know, when this thing's over with, and you know they have a 10-year plan, so clearly Darkseid's got to be at the end of that.
Yeah.
We will be like 15 years removed from Thanos by then. Yeah. So I think that's enough.
Marvel gets super petty. We're gonna bring a fucking apocalypse.
The like week before,
right?
Avengers 7: Age of Apocalypse.
Age of Apocalypse. Yes.
Hey, I'm up for it. I'll be in the theater.
Me too. You already know I'll be there. Yeah. Hell yeah! Like no offense to Oscar Isaac, but I would love to see like a proper apocalypse on the big screen.
They could get him back. He wasn't the problem.
That's true.
Yeah,
that is very true. So, in terms of like what the Green Lanterns could find, because they did specifically say that like they'll unravel a mystery that impacts like the greater part of Chapter 1.
Right.
What if I don't know if they find like Parallax.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah, that could be something, but that's, you know, at the end of the day more of a Green Lantern problem than it becomes like an everybody problem, of course, but you know, kind of like a Green Lantern thing.
Hell, you know, they could. This all just clicked for me when you said that for some fucking reason. What if they go the Kandor route and that's what they find? Because the Supergirl movie is right after.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that would be nuts, and that would be cause for like Superman to leave Earth.
Oh yeah,
like you guys found what? I'll be right there.
You know, and that got me thinking like a little bit more because it's like, the Dark Knight Dark Knight Master Race, the latest chapter. I'll move the book. Latest chapter, and
yeah, there's only the one, but
yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, there's only the one. So Master Race is not as good as, you know, Returns, obviously, but it's definitely better than Strikes Again. Way better. But
I think I agree with that.
Yeah. But, you know, like the main story behind that is the city of Kandor. It's always been like this prop that Superman has kept in the Fortress of Solitude because he's been trying to figure out a way to regrow the city to like its normal size because it's just like this shrunken down city in a jar. And that's kind of like been what it's been for decades. But in that, they successfully do just that. They regrow the city and bring it back to its normal size and all of its people. They're Kryptonians, and they are not good people.
Right, yeah.
And
they make Zod look like a damn Boy Scout.
Right, yeah.
Because Zod actually was legit trying to protect the planet. And
yeah, in his own fucked up way.
These guys are like, nah, fuck them too.
Right, fuck them too.
That's yesterday's news.
Right. And what I really dug about that book, Master Race, well, one thing, it does sound like a Nazi book. You know, you can't just go around calling your book Master Race.
Right.
Frank Miller, you know. But
I used to really love Frank Miller, and then I found out just how much he really hates Dick Grayson.
You know, it's funny because I do want to have you on to discuss one of the most notorious books ever, All-Star Batman and Robin. So sometime down the line, I'm going to have you read that. It's amazing artwork. It's all drawn by Jim Lee. Oh, so yeah. That's great.
And you know I'm a big fan. So.
Yeah. And so we're looking forward to that one if you think that Dick Grayson's done dirty in other books by Frank Miller.
I'm somewhat familiar with it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so, yeah.
Yeah. And then Injustice. And
then,
yeah, just the list goes on.
But yeah, so it would be cool to see like them battle like residents of the city of Kandor.
Yeah.
I mean, but there's so much they could do.
There's a lot. I mean, there's nothing saying they can't do a Zod thing. Like they could do Zod by then. It will be so far removed from
Man of Steel. Yeah,
from Man of Steel. You know, if we like for the end, not an All-Star.
Yeah,
don't do that. But like they could have that. Like the Lanterns find like a fucking Kryptonian ship and he's like frozen in there. Do like a reverse Captain America thing where it's like, hey, we found this guy frozen in ice. Cool, let's wake him up.
Right. Oh shit. And And then, like you mentioned a little bit earlier, there is one more movie on the list, and that is the Batman Part 2.
Yep.
Coming out October 2025.
So they're going to let Matt Reeves finish his trilogy.
Yes.
It is seemingly going to remain outside of this one. Mm-hmm. Apparently, they're also still going to do this fucking Joker 2 movie.
Oh, I forgot about the Joker 2. Okay, so that's still, the musical thing is still going forward.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, ugh.
Oh, okay.
That's all I can say about that is, yuck.
When is that supposed to come out?
I think next year.
Okay.
So it's very possible that the only big DC release we're going to get in 2024
is Joker.
Is that, unless like Aquaman gets pushed again. Yeah.
Jesus Christ! At that point, yeah, no.
So let's read between the lines a little bit. Mm-hmm. Based on what we're seeing here, obviously Aquaman is still around because Aquaman is after the reset.
Yep.
And they're saying that Aquaman leads into this.
Yeah.
You know? So, okay. Do you think Shazam is out?
I think so.
At least this incarnation of him.
Yeah. I unfortunately, I think that Shazam is going to be out.
They should do the version where, like, the family, like, combines to transform into him if they're going to do another one.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that would be like at least a different approach for them to do that live action. And, also, I don't know what room they have for Shazam right now.
Right.
And we don't even know what incarnation of the Justice League they eventually want to form. And that is kind of another interesting question, like, because we probably at least get like the layout of the Justice League at some point during Chapter 1. At least we can kind of piece together who they might use. What 7 would you want to see?
I definitely think Martian Manhunter is in, Cyborg is out. Mm-hmm. Not that I have a problem with Cyborg, but they're going to want to distance themselves from the DCEU.
Yeah.
And so going with the New 52 lineup, probably not the best idea.
Yeah.
So I think you go Manhunter.
Yep.
Look, if they're going to get the Hawkman from Black Adam, then fucking put Hawkman in the lineup.
I hope he can stick around.
He was amazing.
Yeah.
There's not even that's the best Hawkman we're ever going to get.
Right.
He was tremendous.
We're not going to do better than that. Yeah. So please, for fuck's sake, let's try to keep something from Black Adam.
Yeah. But we're probably not going to get that. So they don't know about Ezra Miller. Yeah, that's one of the things they said as part of this.
I'm still confused about that. How do we not know about Ezra Miller?
Well, they said everybody really likes him as the Flash, and he said he was really sorry. So,
oh, that changed everything.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, I'm glad I could explain it to you.
That's all you had to say. Yeah. Shit, I didn't know he was sorry about all that.
I like how Justin Roiland got fired from 90 different things for some shit that he maybe didn't even do. Not saying that
we're not saying we condone that, but yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah. If he's guilty, whatever. Fuck Justin Roiland,
right?
But I just think it's hilarious that just on the accusation, Justin Roiland got fired from
everything.
90 things. This man had to resign from a video game company, got fired off of a show where he plays both of the title characters, and 70 other people. They got to hire a whole new voice cast to replace this man,
right?
But Ezra Miller is knocking over a liquor store, beating up a couple, stealing a couple of kids.
Right.
And then he's like, listen, I had a real tough weekend. I love cocaine. My bad. And they're just like, well, cool, man. We are really glad that you came to your senses.
Ezra, put that lighter down.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So
that's the one thing. Out of everything that James Gunn has did, Henry Cavill not coming back, raising the DCEU to the ground. I haven't really questioned anything that he's done, but being Ezra Miller might still be on board. I've been like, what?
Yeah.
There's so many different ways you can get rid of that motherfucker.
Yeah.
I understand keeping him for the Flash movie. There's no changing that movie.
Right.
But moving forward from that, I don't know why you keep them.
And apparently they did not have to do very big changes to the Flash movie. Apparently they changed one or two little minor things. but apparently it already kind of set this up pretty well.
Yeah.
Which makes me believe they're going to do a legitimate Flashpoint adaptation, as we said. But I don't know, man. So I probably go. Obviously, you go Batman, Superman,
Right. Wonder Woman.
Well, if either you use Diana right off the rip, or you go Hawkman, Hawkgirl.
Okay.
Or if you want to throw a wrench in the shit, you go Kara.
Yeah.
So you go Bruce, Kara, Clark, and then Aquaman. Obviously, got to be in it. I already said Manhunter.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you got to get. Well, hell, you could. Unless you're going to kill one of them, you could put both of your lanterns in there.
Oh shit.
That's an interesting 7. But you got 2 Kryptonians and 2 lanterns.
Yeah.
Somebody got to go.
Yeah, but there's a little redundancy there.
So I don't know though, but I mean, I wouldn't.
And
hate
potentially 2 Hawk people, So
well, I had to take them out to put the lanterns in.
that's true. Yeah.
Because we got to have the lanterns in there.
Right.
But I could see a scenario where one of the lanterns joins the Justice League, and then the other one, keeps the patrol.
Right.
So,
and that would make a lot of sense.
yeah. So I could see that being a thing. I don't want them to kill one of them, at least not for a while.
Yeah, we don't need to do that yet.
I mean, obviously, I would put Hal on the Justice League, and then maybe in the first big team up movie, like the first Justice League movie, he kicks the bucket, and then Jon Stewart steps in to replace him.
Right.
I could see something like that. Then you got that whole like trauma you can do with him, where it's like I should have been here and all this stuff, and he wasn't there. I mean,
it kind of writes itself.
No charge for that, James Gunn. I'm just tossing it out there for you, free.
I think I go. I'm gonna go with the Trinity. So Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman.
If they can't get Gal Gadot, who do you get?
Man, I need somebody stout. I don't know, man. Jeez, because I'm having a hard time. I do agree with your assessment. Like I never minded Gal Gadot.
Right.
Like, I thought that she did a really good job with the role overall. But you're right. She did have that model look to her instead of like the battle warrior look. I don't know. You have anyone in mind?
Well, I mean, I named her Ripley, obviously, earlier.
Yeah.
Like, although she doesn't really fit the aesthetic, but I mean, a lot of that's like stuff she does for the ring or whatever. Can't get Gina Carano. She's definitely out.
Yeah. That's no go.
That's a no fly zone.
Yeah.
It is tough. Honestly, like, this is no better, but originally, like, before they kind of decided to just keep Sif around for unknown nonsense, like Jamie Alexander.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that is definitely tough. She's gonna be too old by then, but a younger Gwendolyn Christie, like, definitely could have played an Amazon.
Yeah,
maybe not her, but maybe not Diana, but I don't know. That's a tough one.
It is like, and it is interesting, man, because it's like obviously I was a really big fan of the Snyder Cut. And one thing that I really liked was that, like, all the Amazons looked like they fucking, like, they were Amazons.
Yeah.
And then you have Gal Gadot, who,
yeah,
who didn't fit that aesthetic. And I forget who played Hippolyta, but I'm like, damn, even she put on a lot of muscle for this.
Yeah.
So Gal just didn't have the frame, to kind of pack on that kind of mass.
That was what's her name from Princess Bride and Unbreakable. And House of Cards. What's her name? Somebody's yelling it at their radio.
I know. So, she was great.
Yeah.
But I'm like, so I feel like you kind of need somebody who can physically fit that part, who, like I said earlier, looks like a battle-hardened Amazonian warrior.
I mean, this ain't CW, but, they are going to want somebody that's attractive.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest.
Like, and Wonder Woman is, all classically attractive.
Right.
So, yeah.
They're going to want that for all of these characters except for Swamp Thing, basically.
Right.
So.
Yeah. But yeah, I do the Trinity. Now, did you have the Flash in your lineup?
I did not, because Ezra Miller is up in the air.
Yeah, that's why I said like I think I would do the Flash. I don't know if I'll go with Barry though, and for that I might go with Wally.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's an interesting. That's like a whole another conundrum that you run into. Mm-hmm. It's like,
is that a pun? Because Flash runs.
It wasn't, but it is now. Damn it. Yeah, speeding along here. We're just gonna ignore that. Yeah, I don't know how you go about that. Obviously, like, you have to do something with. You have to have metahumans. You have to have a speedster involved in here somewhere. But hey, I mean, what if they, wait? What if they do a chapter 2, chapter 3 to bring in, and then maybe by then you do Barry. Right now, we've got Ezra Miller's Flash, about to have a Flash movie. We just got done with like what seems like 11 seasons on CW. And nothing wrong with Grant Gustin.
Yeah.
Nobody's issue with the Flash show has ever been Grant Gustin.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah,
I actually thought he was a tremendous Barry Allen. So yeah, I mean,
he's a better Barry than Ezra.
Yeah,
yeah,
I agree. Yeah, but hey, maybe I was gonna say, they could do the whole like Spider-Verse thing and go with like an older Peter Parker, like doing the mentor thing, and then have Grant Gustin play him. But Grant Gustin, when he's 50, he's probably still going to look 12. So,
right, yeah.
So it's not going to fucking work out. Yeah, so you cast Stephen Amell as the older Barry. And just still get Grant Gustin.
Right, still just get Grant Gustin. Son of a bitch.
That's tough. Mm-hmm. Although I will say that I would love Caleb McLaughlin from Stranger Things as Wally. I think he would kill it.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could definitely work.
Yeah. Or Aqualad too.
Yeah, or Aqualad. But I already had him fan casted to Static.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
I don't know, man. He ain't really ripped enough to be Aqualad for me.
That is true, because Aqualad's kind of stacked.
Yeah.
And that's a whole another conundrum. Like, who do you get for Aqualad? Because that motherfucker's got to be.
John Boyega would have been great, but he can be like 40 by the time that shit comes out. So
it's also true.
He just walks on set. I should have got my damn stormtrooper arc.
Right.
I was robbed.
I was about to say, he was robbed like a motherfucker.
He really was.
Yeah.
He's got to wake up with that shit every day, man.
Right.
I wake up with it every day, and I'm not even him.
Right. But then I think to round out my list, I do Hawk Girl.
Okay.
And I'll do Jon Stewart. So very reminiscent of the Justice League cartoon.
Yeah.
Actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
So but I didn't have a Aquaman in there, did I? Did I name 6 or 7?
I think you gotta have Aquaman, unless they're gonna kill him, which I doubt.
See, I don't know. They might pull something just because Jason Momoa, we know he's not done with DC. We know that Aquaman 2 technically kind of kicks things off to a degree.
They could do something cool with him where, like, because he was the reluctant joiner of the Justice League.
Yeah.
They could do something cool with him where like, because of the way everything shakes out, like, he's the only person that remembers everything.
Yeah.
And then he could be like the guy who puts the team together.
Right.
To kind of like honor what Bruce did for them.
Yeah.
Like, that would be a cool way for them to go. I don't know if Jason Momoa could pull off that or anything else other than just looking and sounding cool.
He's really good at those things.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. He's tremendous at those things.
But I mean, let's be honest. We're gonna get him as Lobo,
right?
And James Gunn has already said that he's not gonna play 2 characters.
Yeah, so they could kill him.
Yeah. That would be something. I mean, I don't want them to kill off Aquaman before we see Aqualad, though. Like, I feel like we really need to see Aqualad have some kind of moment with Aquaman, and then if they want to, they can kill off Aquaman. But,
Right.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. Anything in particular you want to see from the Batman 2?
No,
I take it back.
Other than what you already know about,
take it
which is Matthew McConaughey as Mr. Freeze.
God damn it. Stop putting that evil in the
I'm
universe.
telling you, man, you would love it.
I would not love it. I still actually think he would make I legitimately think Matthew would make a phenomenal Reverse Flash.
Oh, God. That would be horrifying.
Right.
No, I don't. Like, I do want that, but, like, I don't know if I'd be able to sleep anymore.
It'd be terrifying as fuck.
He's like, we're always going to end up right back here, Barry. No matter what you do. I'd just be like, he's telling the truth. Get the fuck out of here. I don't know where you're going to go. But...
Right. Run, Barry.
Yeah. It's like it's not going to help, but.
Right.
Dude, I'm going to tell you, like, they got to eventually get to where they do a damn good Reverse Flash. And maybe they do in this Flashpoint movie, but do we know of any, like, casting for that? Or are they just going to have Ezra play both of them?
Ezra's playing two different versions of a Flash. We know that. We know they had, I forget the one, Sasha Cale, I think is her name, as Supergirl. Michael Keaton as, old man Bruce. But besides that, we don't really know much of anything.
Yeah.
But for sure, the other Flash has got to be Reverse Flash.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. And, I think it's a pretty easily unveiled secret at this point. And I'm only like that idea if once the reveal happens, we get like an actual actor who's playing Reverse Flash.
Yeah.
I don't want to see Ezra do both, where it's just like evil Barry versus good Barry.
Yeah. You're going to have to be really good to do better than Tom Cavanaugh did.
Yeah.
In the show. Because, like,
man,
in that first
season 1?
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was tremendous.
He was.
I would like to play, I would like to see Aaron Eckhart that was...
Two-Face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would have been a tremendous one as well.
Yeah, I can see that too.
Horrifying.
Yeah, that would be horrifying.
Yeah, they could do some really good, like pretty much anything. I think, like you have to kill it with that character because he's one of the best villains.
He is.
I mean, if you got anybody that's going to give like Kang a run for his money on the other side, it's got to be him.
There you go again with the puns.
I promise I am not doing these intentionally.
Oh shit! I don't believe you.
I just came down here to run down.
The
slate.
All right. Now you're pushing.
And now you're just taking off with it.
all right. You've ran your race. You're done here.
All right. Well, if you're gonna speed force me into it, then...
God damn it! I'm gonna just go ahead and take off from here. All right.
I need us to reverse course immediately. This has gone so far off the rails.
Holy shit.
It's like Kevin is here on the air with us. That's how far off the rails it has gone.
Kevin is Reverse Flash.
It's like Kevin and Oz are here, actually. That's how far that just went off the rails.
Oz is Reverse Flash.
I can see it.
Oz is Reverse Flash in the idea of like if the Flash never ran, that kind of...
Wait until right when I take a drink of water to say this. Right in front of all of his really delicate ass equipment.
You even somehow brought me on the show and I wasn't here.
Hey, it's the DC multiverse, bro.
That's right.
You can just bring whoever.
You broke the multiverse to make me laugh at that shit.
we brought Hazmat Franklin in earlier.
We did. I used my summon Kevin spell. I can use it once per long rest. And
yeah, he's gonna be the villain in the Swamp Thing movie. Hazmat Franklin.
Yeah, that we've already decided. Yeah.
Sounds about right. We know he's cooking up something.
Yeah.
Oh shit. But speaking of Kevin, it's almost like he's here. He did have. This is a rarity. He actually had a good idea.
Oh shit.
And he.
The one where you came on my podcast.
That was your idea.
That was an insanely good idea.
Yeah.
I have many good ideas.
But he, well, I'm trying to remember what his good idea was, man. It's slipping now.
Damn, man, that just ran away from you.
God damn it! Stop it! I'm gonna give you the toot. One more, and you get the toot. But no, he suggested Bryan Cranston as Mr. Freeze in the Batman sequel.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if Matt's not available, absolutely. Yeah, I'm up for it.
Son of a... You know what? Matthew McConaughey would make an interesting Two-Face. I will give you that.
That's also horrifying.
Yes.
I don't want Reverse Flash Matthew McConaughey, and I'm sure as fuck don't want Two-Face Matthew McConaughey.
You need your Two-Face to be terrifying.
That's true. That's true.
Admittedly, between those options, I feel like a Matthew McConaughey Two-Face would be fascinating.
Yeah.
Whose the fucking idea was for Matthew McConaughey, Mr. Freeze?
That would be me.
He's been putting that evilness into the universe, and I wish he would.
No, we like Mr. Freeze. We're not trying to bastardize him.
Right.
Nothing but really bad puns.
Yeah, yeah. He just says you'd be a lot cooler if you did. A lot.
Go to bed.
I need it, man. I need it.
Go to bed.
I think he would kill it. Yeah.
God damn it.
Batman shows up. He gives them this long, drawn-out monologue. It has nothing to do with fucking anything.
Right. Yeah, he just plays like a version of himself from Interstellar and True Detective.
He gets to the end of it. He's like, I froze Gotham 12 minutes ago. I just been stalling this whole time.
God damn it. Son of a bitch. Okay.
Where were we? We derailed.
Yeah,
so
derailed
hard.
so hard. We were talking about the Batman Part 2.
Yeah.
Yes.
I actually really do think they're going to go with an animated series style Mr. Freeze for the villain.
And we're all just assuming that they're going to do Mr. Freeze. I think that the internet has collectively willed this thing into existence.
We know it's not going to be the Joker, which I'm a fan of that decision.
Yeah.
Honestly, man, Matt Reeves also did such a good job with that first one. I'm very excited to see what they do with the second one. I'm glad we got a release date.
Yeah.
And as we all know, though, those can change.
Uh-huh.
But I think that this one's pretty solid. I mean, so I don't know, man. Do you think they keep that kind of similar tone to the first one, or you think due to the way the first one ends that they do a kind of large tonal shift with this one?
From what I can understand, I think we're going to keep a similar tone. They're going with the crime noir theme for this trilogy, which also leads me to believe that they can also get a little fantastical with it too, though. So I've been trying to will Clayface into existence for one of these Batman movies. I think that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
And terrifying. Clayface scared the fuck out of me as a kid.
Yeah.
He is just awful to look at, and so I think that he'd be a lot of fun, and he would be like a great murder mystery type thing. Like who is the Clayface?
Yeah.
But I mean, what's most likely is definitely Mr. Freeze. Obviously, we're gonna get Penguin back.
Yeah. I mean, and I believe that HBO thing is still going on with him.
Yeah, they're still doing still doing the TV show, which it hasn't been announced yet on the slate, which is interesting. But they said they're still moving forward. So
yeah, I mean, Colin Farrell did
just
a tremendous job. So I can see him kind of being the scarecrow here, where he just hangs out the whole trilogy.
Yeah, I can see that too, and that makes sense for the Penguin, especially.
Right.
So Caleb, you've already kind of told us your top 3 most anticipated, but kind of tell us again, what 3 projects are you looking forward to the most?
Well, if James Gunn directs this Superman movie, it could be the definitive Superman movie.
Yeah.
And it really needs to be for this to kick off. Like I want that for them. Obviously, I'm excited about Brave and the Bold, even though I don't really want to put up with Damian. But them going with the Grant Morrison run, I mean, I can't be mad at that.
Right.
And then Supergirl is my number 3 for sure, because if they do Kara right, I mean, she's got such an incredible story to tell. So it's all going to come down to casting. It's all going to come down to writing. James Gunn can't write all of this shit.
Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully his team of people is as good as he says they are.
Yeah,
You know?
because he can get Greg Berlanti'd out real fast.
Oh, Jesus.
Don't worry, Kevin. My number one rule with all of this was like, Greg Berlanti's not allowed to anywhere near any of this shit.
And Peter Dix.
Yeah, yeah,
He meant John Peters.
yeah.
No, I said what I said.
I said that
I did not stutter.
I said I would take John Peters just slightly over Greg Berlanti because we would get to see somebody fight a giant spider. That's it. That's his one point he has over Greg Berlanti.
Oh.
I'll give you that.
My top three are of no surprise. Batman and Robin, Brave and the Bold. I mean, that's as soon as I saw that announcement and I saw the Grant Morrison Batman and Robin, I was like, oh my gosh, yeah. And just like you, I'm super hyped to see a live action Damian Wayne. I
don't think that's what I said, but all right.
I don't know if this counts, but I'm gonna throw it in anyway. The Batman Part 2.
Okay.
It's almost like I'm a Batman fan or something. I don't know.
Something like that. Yeah.
And man, I think my third one will probably have to be the Green Lantern TV show.
Yeah.
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 So yeah, I mean, there's some good shit here, and like you mentioned earlier, there's still more to come. This is just what they wanted to announce right now.
Right.
So yeah, looking forward to it, man. You got any final closing thoughts on this?
No, James Gunn has a massive budget to play with and Kevin Feige level powers. And he studied under the man himself. He's already said that, he's seen the mistakes that Marvel made and he's doing his best to not make those mistakes. So if he comes out the gate, man, and nails this first chapter, they can really get something going here. It's going to be 2025, which means that this is going to be releasing in the midst of Marvel's Phase 6.
Yeah.
We're going to be full tilt Kang, Secret Wars, and everything else going on. So you're going to have to come out of the gate because, we don't know yet, but if what we've seen so far about Phase 5 is any indication, Marvel's going to be back to at least, maybe not red hot, but they at least going to be pretty warm.
Yeah, they're going to have some strong upward momentum.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, like, at least for me personally, like, a lot of that's going to really ride on the success of Ant-Man 3. I've never been excited for an Ant-Man movie. Yeah. And yet here I am.
It's very similar to this.
Yeah.
I've never been excited for a Superman movie.
Yeah.
But it's that same thing. It's like, all right, coming out the gate into Phase 5, you got to wash that bad taste of Phase 4 out. Mm-hmm. You've got to come out with this palate cleanser. Obviously, these guys have, and it is very similar here too, they've got Guardians 3 in their pocket. They know that's going to work.
Yep.
They've got it sitting there. So even if Ant-Man's terrible, it's like, well, but here's some Guardians 3.
Yeah. Right around the corner is Guardians 3. Yeah.
And they've got the same thing here. They've got, okay, well, we're going to come out with a Superman movie. All right, well, you didn't love that. Well, here's some Batman. As a matter of fact, here's 2 different Batmans. Yeah. and a Bat Kid.
And a Bat Kid. He's kind of an asshole, but he's here.
Yeah, so, obviously they've got the fail-safes built in, but, like, for them to really get the momentum they want, this whole slate that, we can't have any scragglers in there. Right. You can get 1 or 2. Marvel got by with a bunch even before Phase 4.
Yeah, but they had built up a lot of credit before they really started creeping in.
Right. And this chapter 1 needs to be solid.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, agreed. And whereas, like, even, if not everything in Marvel Phase 1 or 2 were great, that was our first time seeing anything like that.
Yeah.
So maybe subconsciously we gave a lot of passes, but we also got some really excellent shit.
Yeah, it wasn't bangers only, but like other than Iron Man 3, there's not a real stinker in there either.
No, there's not. And like I was talking with Kevin about yesterday, I said, man, in 2014 we got Guardians and Winter Soldier in the same fucking year.
Yeah.
I'm like, that was fantastic in the midst of Phase 2. And I was like, if either Marvel or DC can replicate that success, not just in terms of like how much money those movies made, but in how tonally different those movies are and how successful they are in the eyes of the fans and the critics, we're going to have a really fun war going on.
Also, can you tell a cohesive story and keep that running? Because that's also probably the other like real big area where Phase 4 slipped with Marvel is none of this feels like it's leading into anything.
Right.
All of these properties seem like they're just very slightly connected via these Easter eggs. They feel disjointed. Start telling me a story in Superman and lead that shit all through lanterns and everything and lead up to this big finale, whatever you're going to do.
Right.
Like, give me a reason in Superman to come back and see the next thing, Waller doesn't have to be something to do with what's going on in Superman, but it needs to be close,
Yeah. Speaking of that really quick, I am really interested to see Amanda Waller, man. She might be the most powerful entity in DC because she's been in like every iteration of the DCEU.
Right.
And she's going to continue to be there. I mean, we've seen her in Black Adam. We've seen her in Peacemaker. We've seen her in both Suicide Squad movies. I guess we're just gonna have to ignore some shit with that.
Yeah, that post credit scene that never happened.
Yeah, it never happened. Yeah.
Well, like it happened, but like the smoke just comes down and that's it. Like
right.
Like Henry Cavill never walks out of the smoke. They're gonna pull a George Lucas and go whoever they get for the new Superman. They're gonna go CG him in.
Oh,
they're gonna edit it on HBO Max.
Yeah, or they just put in Shazam.
Yeah, King Shark.
Right, King Shark. Black Adam's like, the fuck is that?
He's like, okay, I didn't know you guys were gonna send this fucking Street Shark.
Yeah,
I relent.
Yeah, all right, you win, Waller.
Yeah.
All right,
all
guys.
I got, man.
Yeah, I think I'm good here too. But I am really looking forward to this, and I know a lot of you guys listening are as well. So let us know what you guys think. If you haven't already, be sure to check out an Evolve review. Also, that is an amazing podcast. Keep plugging it because he keeps making some bomb ass shit over there, making me step my game up.
I gotta stir it up, man.
Yeah, and I don't like working hard, so I feel conflicted about that. But be sure to check that out. What do you have coming up here with an Evolve review?
Well, next week I got this guy on that I can't really get off the show. I'm contractually obligated to keep having him back. So,
but he's like a really great guest.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, so you're coming on. And then after that, so right now we're in the middle of our Last of Us coverage. That's keeping us pretty busy for the next 6 weeks. So you're going to be coming on. The homie Oz is going to be coming on. I probably will do something similar to House of the Dragon and kind of have like a big finale, and do something special again with that because like that was really well received and it was fun to do. Hopefully this time the technical limitations will not exist that existed when we did that.
Unless you buffer in person, I don't think that should be an issue.
That was a huge deal. But I do feel like we will have to bring a couple people in remote for it. We'll just kind of see what the studio is looking like 6 weeks from now. I'm hoping it'll be revised. We will be making our return to a video format hopefully in the next 2 months or so.
Nice.
So I'm really excited for that. Really excited to get the setup in there and get it all looking good. And then of course, we're going to end season 6 with our villains episode.
I am really looking forward to that. Yes.
Yeah. So I've already started to kind of structure what that's going to look like and everything. And so, yeah, man, that's probably the rest of our season 6. And honestly, thanks to HBO for putting The Last of Us out there and giving us the great content to talk about. So
yeah, I mean honestly, on our end, obviously we have Ant-Man 2 coming out. I believe February 17th is the nationwide release date. But also before that, I wanted to do an episode for the MCU similar to the episode that Kevin and I did yesterday. For the DCEU, but really looking at the meteoric success of phases 1 through 3, what went wrong with phase 4, and what needs to happen for phase 5. So just kind of another in-depth analysis of what we've gotten versus what we hope to see now in the future. And needed to do that before Ant-Man 2. So if you're not doing anything, I might have you on for that one as well.
Yeah, I mean, we got 2 weeks till Ant-Man.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And I'm already coming on for that.
Yes.
Did the homie Joe confirm whether he's...
I need to get with him. He gave me a soft yes.
Okay.
So, And, you know, I mean, that's enough consent for me. I'm joking, guys. That was a joke.
No, he's not. He's not.
You said yes that one time, so it counts.
Okay, yeah. No, in all seriousness, though, it would be great to have him.
Yeah, I would love to have him on for that, especially since that typically isn't his type of movie.
Yeah, if he likes that movie, they did their job.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't give a single shit about space or Ant-Man.
Right.
So,
that's why I was surprised to hear that he was even going to go see this movie.
yeah, well, you know, he hasn't really got to go hang out at a movie in a while. So,
True. And so, yeah, those are like two of the big episodes we have coming up. The homie Oz doesn't know this yet, but I'm going to have him on also really soon to discuss Howard the Duck, the classic 1980s movie, one of the first Marvel movies to ever come out. And I'm sure that Oz might love it.
yeah.
He might legitimately love it.
If he does, I can't wait for you guys to watch the David Lynch Dune movie.
Oh, you mean the one that you and I are going to watch?
No. I actually I went ahead and had the contracts modified to where I was actually going to be doing that because
I'm going to be talking to my lawyers about that.
I will only show up for that if he is also here. I refuse to suffer through that without at least two people here to absorb the suckage of that film.
Consider it done. And again, Oz might love it.
He might.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That's honestly
that
kind
bad?
of why I want him there. Is because, like, I think this surpasses what he could even consider a decent film. Because I think it's worse than Aragon, and he doesn't like Aragon. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Should he watch the new Dune first or the old one first?
No. You definitely got to watch the old one first.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Oh, because it might spoil some things even if it gets it completely wrong.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you definitely got to watch the old one first.
That's fair.
Because the new one's tremendous.
Yeah.
You don't want to go from the new one to the old one.
Gotcha.
And honestly, the old one is so bad, you're not going to know what the fuck's going on anyway.
Yes. So that's what we have coming up, guys. And hopefully all you homies are really excited about that. So a lot of cool shit and coming down the pipeline. And also check out Tavern Notice Board. That is Oz's podcast. And it is also, you guessed it, really fucking good. The guy knows his Dungeons and Dragons. And on top of that, right now he's covering The Legends of Vox Machina season 2. And I'm actually recently caught up on that. It's a really good fucking show. Have you seen any of that yet?
I have seen absolutely none of season 2. As a matter of fact, both of the guests that he's had on for his reviews for that, shout out to both Lauren and Shelby. They're like, "Hey, have you listened to the episode?" I'm like, "I ain't even watched the show." Yeah. So yeah, I'm really slipping on that, and I really need to get on it. So I loved season 1. I just haven't. I guess I just got to be in a certain mindset for it. I just haven't been there. So
yeah, I get it. They step it up for season 2, and so I've really been enjoying it so far.
They got that Amazon money.
They do. Yeah.
You know, every time Amazon puts out a show, like the gods flip a coin.
Right. Yeah. What's it gonna be?
And it is either like the best thing you've watched, or it's like just absolute dog shit.
Yeah. Are you gonna get the boys, or or Invincible, or are you gonna get
Rings of Power?
God damn.
Or Wheel of Time.
You hate to hear it. But that's going to be all for this one, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. Again, just as promised, this is a quick breakdown.
Yeah. A little quick breakdown.
Yeah. Of the latest DCU slate.
This is a shorties episode.
Yeah, clearly this is a shorties. Just a brisk 2 hours and 22 minutes, But that's going to be all for this one, guys. Thank you again for listening in. And if you guys have any questions, comments, gifts, threats, food supplies, hit us up at superherohomies@gmail.com or any of our social media outlets. We're always active, live, and listening. That's going to be all for this one, but we will see you guys again soon. But until then, my name is Superhero Homie Q.
And I'm Superhero Homie Caleb.
Till next time.